everywhere, but
he's walking to the forward line.
He's walking to the forward line, and Sellers has picked at him one.
Is Hodge down there?
Yep.
Yes, Hodge is there too, so you've actually picked. That's why I owe you a lot of money, Waddy.
You going for Geelong, Adam?
No, I'm going for Hawthorn. I think they'll make a statement today, and that's what makes today so exciting, as Mark said. Whoever wins today is making a statement to everyone else in the competition.
Yeah, I think the Hawks can do it, even though Geelong's form's been slightly better. I think the time is nigh for the Hawks.
I'm Geelong.
I'm Hawthorn.
Yeah, I'm going for the Cats.
Oh, you've always been Hawthorn.
And Carlton just about ready for a start. Listen to the roar permeating around the MCG. Easter Tuesday, Cats and the Hawks and Drew Morford on grandstand.
There goes the bounce. Otten's camped underneath it. Renouf comes over the top of him. It comes to Burgoyne of the Hawks. He swivels his hips and gets out of trouble. Gets the hand pass away to Ladson, who wished he didn't have it because he's bowled over straight away. And he's underneath this pack, and the umpire's going to come in and ball it up. The umps in red today: Michael Bozzo, Jason Armstrong and Troy Pennell.
Sometimes they let him go too long, don't they?
Yeah, I was with you there. What about the intensity of that first effort? How many players? Oh.
Here's a bounce, and Renouf wins it. Ball comes down, and a little kick for the Hawks forward. Chopped off by Enright, but his hand pass goes backwards. Bateman gets it across to Buddy. Buddy fires for goal on the run and kicks it. 39 seconds into the game, and Franklin's on the board for the Hawks.
And where did he start? Where was he positioned to start? Did anybody notice where his position? Wing he played and kicked the first goal. That's one to me. Just put it on the scoreboard. Put it on the scoreboard there. One to Parkin versus McClure.
It's all about you, David.
No, I'm just. I know it's not all about me at all. But I'm just saying that's why you're a great player. And I was a shocker, but I was a better coach than you.
Actually, he does that at the start of the game. That was a terrific run. The ball out of the middle of the ground. Sewell got the kick away. Just a scrambling kick into space. And all of a sudden they ran onto it. And Buddy, almost the quickest on the ground of anybody, who just took the ball and just steamed away and banged it through. Exciting start.
Yeah. Taylor's got him too, by the way. Taylor with Buddy, which we did pick before the game.
Hawthorn a goal inside the first minute. Renouf a big punch. Good roving Rioli. Hand passes to Bruce. Stand start. Kick towards half forward on the northern side. There's Scarlett. He's 250th. He's taken over the boundary in a tackle. Going nowhere in a hurry by Roughhead. And there'll be a boundary throwing.
Lonergan for Roughhead too. That's one I didn't pick. So Scarlett must be playing further up.
On Lewis. Boundary throwing. Tap down by Hale. It's rowed by Selwood. A hand pass to Enright. Gets bowled over and his kick's no good. Slews to Hodge. Handballs to Birchall. Pokes inside 50. Mitchell's in space marking at the punt road end.
And Whitey's got his way because it's Hodge on Ling, as Mark predicted before the game. Ling has gone forward and certainly had Hodge as the direct opponent.
So Sam Mitchell, in the 3 games he's played this year, he's knocked up getting it, averaging 35 possessions a match. Wobbly kick, misses to the right-hand side. Not one of his strong suits, kicking for goal. And the Hawks are away though. 1-1-7. The Cats have hardly touched it in the first couple of minutes on Grandstand AFL.
Actually, that's his first score for the year. One behind. Milburn kicks to himself and is almost caught by Franklin. He is. The hand pass goes away to Bateman. The ball tapped out to Rioli. Off to Franklin, but he's got his second.
See, that was an error.
3 minutes into the game, Franklin 2 goals. The Hawks 2-1 to nothing.
Well, an error in that. Who was it took off at fullback?
Darren Milburn.
Milburn took off.
And it was Franklin who
committed to one side and went to go around Buddy. I mean, Buddy is as agile and as quick as any 6'5" bloke we've seen in the Olympic Games. And it was a very bad decision to take. He was committed in the right way, and he could have gone off and he had support up the ground where he was going, and for some reason changed his mind. Second thoughts aren't great thoughts in this business. First thoughts are just always the best thoughts.
He certainly showed he was 35 years of age there.
Well, that's interesting. It's an interesting forward setup that Hawthorn do have with the Bateman Rioli quickness.
Bounce again. Otten's the tap. Good roving Chapman. Clean ball this time for the Cats. A hand pass to Taylor. Wobbles inside 50. Hodsy Adley though had someone working himself to the front in Gillam. Quick hand pass to Hodge. Does well to avoid the kick being smothered. Finds Roughhead. Now over the top in the direction of Suckling. On the MCC member side, nice kick to Shields. Is that a good start to Franklin, who did so well to take that mark out in front of him. because I don't think he could see it because the sun was in his eyes. But gee, he did well then. Very clever by Franklin, slightly left of centre.
Tell you can't see the ball or Franklin. It's Taylor.
Hawthorn are pretty excited about the three S's, aren't they? Savage, Suckling and Shields. And they might have just added a dimension of speed and agility and skill, which this team need. A real injection.
Well, he's going for his third goal inside 5 minutes. It's the Buddy show. Wheels out. And the kick misses to the left-hand side from 53 metres. And the Hawks are 2-2-14. The Cats yet to score. We've played 5 minutes. Adam White.
And it's fascinating that Geelong have decided to go with Taylor on Franklin because Taylor hasn't been in the best of form, and it means that Scarlett is actually playing on Jordan Lewis.
Enright marks the kick in and then kicks a long ball just short of the wing. It pitches short.
They can't get it.
Of Hawkins, and it bounces away from him out of bounds.
The only time they get it's when it goes through for a point.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis is on Scarlett as a defensive forward.
Renouf wins the hit out from the boundary throw-in. Comes to Bartel. Selwood ducks a high tackle in classical fashion. Hand pass to Taylor, and his kick goes out of bounds on the full, so he's having a nightmare start, Harry Taylor. 2 goals kicked on him and 1 out on the full.
Gibson goes back to Ladson inside defensive 50 at the city end of Gillum.
Might be a good idea for the coach to put Taylor back and Scarlett up onto Franklin, and that takes Lewis with him.
Yeah, well, you reckon they'd be able to control that a bit, wouldn't you? Scarlett doesn't have to go to who Hawthorn wanted.
He tells him what he wants to do.
He goes 2-on-1.
Switches to Ladson, now to Hodge as they transfer it from the outer side to the member side, and Young marks outside defensive 50. Good shepherding by Birchall, allows him to kick down the line towards the wing. Big fly Renouf, couldn't take the mark. Pack forming near him. Corey tries to get it out for the Cats. Bartel does. Fending off the tackle. Kelly for the kick, smothered by Young. From about commentary position. Hawthorn all over Geelong at the moment. 6.5 paid. 2-2, 14-0.
Already made a change. Lonergan's gone to Franklin, and Harry Taylor's gone to Roughhead.
At the boundary throw-in, Hawkins in ruck. The ball comes down to Mitchell, who's swamped straight away in the tackle, and the up will ball it up centre wing. Adam White.
It's fascinating watching Hawthorn's forwards. They're sucking back, and really Geelong's rolling the dice by not playing on them.
Renouf wins the hit out against Hawkins, but it comes to Bartel. He's kicked towards the 50, inside the 50 for the first time for the Cats. Taken by Birchall. Little hand pass away to Hodge. The skipper gets the hand pass away to Gibson. Gibson's kick to centre wing. Renouf found himself a bit of space and marks
kick
on the wing.
Beautiful kick. Gibson's kick was a ripper then. Saw him at the last minute and changed his direction and kicked it long and straight.
There's a 50-metre penalty here.
It's
off the
Shirley
ball.
Johnson.
Stevie Johnson with Sam Mitchell, and Johnson's still going on with it.
I think
he wrote the dope in Mitchell, no doubt about that.
So a 50-metre penalty, and Sammy Mitchell now has the free kick just outside the 50. Distance will worry. He gets the hand pass to Guerra, and Guerra was lining up and his eyes were lit up.
Mitchell thought it was his kick from back up here, but the ball was relayed down and the big
fella.
No, it's Renouf.
Renouf got it.
Now Suckling.
So Suckling can kick a long left footer. He goes from 60 out, right to the line. No mark, and the ball just flops over the goal line. It's going to be a free kick. Hawthorn free kick in the goal square. And this will be a certain goal, and they'll be 3-0.
And this is why...
David Hale.
Yeah, David Hale. I mean, David Hale playing down there, this is why I think that Roughhead can be released for the long term. He's worrying the heck out of them.
Hale from point-blank range gets the goal. It's 3-2 after 8 minutes of football at the MCG.
Well, and the difficulty here is if you don't get the goals that you should earn with the amount of ball you've had. Geelong have probably had about 8 or 10 total possessions for the period of game. What are we now at the 8-minute mark of the first quarter?
28-13.
Oh, 28-13. Well, it's about, I mean, that's 2-1. It's a lot of ball. But if you don't put it through the goals, and Hawthorn at least have a better than 50-50 result, which hasn't always been the way, you get a good result now. That holds you instead when Geelong will get their turn. We know that the game, they'll lose control, Hawthorn, at some stage in Geelong. It's so good at smashing on the scoreboard when they're in possession and controlling the game that they need to get a good result while they're up and going.
Outstanding start by the Hawks. 3-2, 20-0. Bounce in the middle, Ottens. He gets it down. Kelly tackled by Sewell from behind. He's penalised. Ferocious the Hawks. Free kick to Sewell inside the bullseyes. Bangs the Hawks inside 50 of the punt road end. Franklin's there. But Taylor comes across and punches away for Geelong. Outside defensive 50. Otten's on the up. Handballs towards Duncan, who ran into trouble and had to get rid of it in a hurry. Panicked a bit. Finds the boundary at half-back for the Cats on the northern side.
Here's the throw in at left half forward. Renoff in front, works it down to Sewell, who slips a tackle. Left foots the ball out wide towards the pocket, and it bounces out of bounds. And it's about 30 metres around from the behind post. Hawthorn doing all the attacking. Franklin ambles out to straight out from the goal square with Lonergan, his new opponent. Roughhead wins in ruck for the Hawks. Comes to Sewell, who's done some hard grunt work underneath. Savage gets a kick, a high ball. Roughhead, who couldn't find the ball down in Launceston last round, and he gets an early touch, a mark overhead in front, and he'll kick a goal.
Terrific stuff for him, because he was challenged last week by everybody on the plane, in the airport and around the ground, because he did put in a shocker last week. Good start. Had a good tackle on the boundary line here before. He's got himself into the play.
Was David Hale off? I was looking for the other tour and I thought they might get in each other way, but Hale wasn't on the ground at this time it went in.
Roughhead in front, 30 out, drives home the goal, drives home the advantage. Hawthorn 4-2. Cats yet to score, approaching the 11-minute mark.
Well, I think I looked at, sorry, Mark, I looked at a contested possession where it all starts, 14-7. I mean, if the game starts with you're winning your percentage of the ball, they've been 50% better than their opponent. That's unbelievable, because Geelong really are extremely good in that area.
Adam White?
Yeah, just confirming, Parker, that David Hale was off the ground while that was going inside 50. He now goes straight into the ruck, and the Hawks over the last couple of minutes have had the luxury of having both Hodge and Mitchell on the bench getting a break.
What a start by the Hawks. Cats have hardly gone forward, hardly touched the footy. Magnificent start. Otten's big tap. Opposed to Hale. Which way's the free kick going? No, Kelly off the play will take it. In the centre, loads up, kicks Geelong inside 50. Hawkins and Gibson. Hawkins! Ball was dropping short. He read the flight expertly as Gibson tried to work to the front. But the Tomahawk marks at left half forward for the Cats. 40 from goal. There's
my argument, Dan. Just a big, strong bloke who set his backside out and just removed him and couldn't do anything about it. That's their problem. They don't have one big, strong bloke who can do that.
Franklin to the bench. Damage done early.
Tom Hawkins back in. Trying to get the Cats going here. 12 minutes into the term. And he's done the job. Geelong on the board. Bit of relief for their supporters. On Grandstand AFL, they're one straight 6. The Hawks are 4-2-26.
Well, the Cats have been inside 50 probably twice in the first 2 or 3 times in the first 5 or 6 minutes, or 12 minutes it is now, and you've been in twice. It's unbelievable. 6 shots to 1 is the score at this stage. But Tommy Hawkins put his body in front, as David said. And we know Gibson's doesn't play well on strong, tall blokes. He's better on a runner and better on a person who can move around. When they stand still and push and shove, he wins. But you know what? Hawkins needs to work harder. He needs to work harder as a player and move him up the ground and take him backwards and do all those things. But that was a special start for Hawkins. Good mark, good finish.
Otten's in the ruck against David Hale. 26-6, the Hawks. Bounce straight up overhead. Hale gets a hand to it, but it's rowed by Hunt of the Cats. Taylor Hunt's kick, a high ball out wide towards half forward flank. It spins backwards. Hawkins makes a contest of it again. Takes his man to ground. The ball finishes up over the boundary line, and we get a throw in. Great Southern stand side. Another massive crowd at the MCG. It's built up since the start, into the 70s, I'd reckon. What a couple of days we've had here in beautiful weather.
Yes, we've been spoilt. Throw in, Savage at the fall. Hand pass run down by Taylor Hunt at half forward for Geelong. Still a chance for the Hawks. Ladson combining with Suckling. He had his hand pass smothered as well. Back to Kelly. I reckon he was ridden into the ground. Mitchell picks up the loose ball. It's going to be a Geelong free kick. Left half forward underneath the Great Southern stand.
Well, it should be 50 metres.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
There's the umpire in the middle of the ground, Sellers, who wasn't with the play. It took a long while for the message to get down. It was a free kick. Umpire in charge ignored it. The free kick was there, given by the central umpire.
Third and the best and fairest last year for the Cats, James Kelly. 52 out, kicks long to the goal square, but misses to the left-hand side. The Cats are 1-1-7. Hawthorn, they got away with 4 goals inside 11 minutes. They're 4-2-26.
Matter of fact, Dan, there's a section of the Ponsford stand which was vacant a while ago, and they've let some people in there. This could be into the 80s, this crowd. The Hawks bring the ball straight up to the centre. Rioli marks at centre half back. Hand pass off to Suckling. Racing through. Back to Suckling. This is great stuff. On to Sewell. Inside the 50. Franklin is there. And maybe Bruce came over the top of him and spoiled him. Bruce gets the hand pass away, and a little accidental kick somehow finishes up in the midriff of Mackie, and they get out of trouble, the Cats. And Ottens takes the mark just outside the 50. Hawthorn 4-2 lead Geelong 1-1. Kick by Ottens, and he's gone to the open side, out to the Great Southern stand side. The mark taken by Corey, who had a chance to go on with it, but went back behind the man on the mark and then pokes a short pass to Selwood. And under the armpit kick, finds a man out in space. Wojcinski with the pace. Took a while to gather, and now kicks to Ling on the lead. Used to be a full forward, Lingy, and now he interferes and takes his Hawthorn opponent out head high. And the free kick will go to Ladson at centre half back for the Hawks.
Ladson dishes off. Running behind him, Mitchell. In short to Rioli. At half back on the outer side. Dabs towards the centre square. Still a bit beyond it. And Birchall now runs back inside defensive 50. Slightly indecisive. Handballs to Gillam on the member side now to Gibson. Podsiadly's there to confront him. Good hand pass to Suckling. Good give to Shields. Need to probably kick it. They've had 6 handballs, make that 7. Gibson over the top to Guerra. Close to the boundary. Now to Birchall. Cuts inside with the 8th hand pass in this exchange. Good work on this occasion by Young. Back to Birchall. Kicks inside 50. Dropping short for Bateman. At the slip, Sewell on the attacking 50. Mitchell. Good hands to Bateman. Had the kick smothered. Falls to Corey of the Cats. Wojcinski lost it. Scarlett there for backup. Quick give now to Milburn. Goes wide. They got out of that. And Selwood marks it half back.
Oh, fantastic smother off the boot by Young, and then he comes in and tackles Ottens to the ground. Ball spills back to Selwood. Short ball out to Hawkins. Down the line he goes to Bartell, who drives it long to Podsiadly, just inside the 50. Good mark, and nothing Hodge could do about it. Getting back late. Podsiadly centres the ball with a great kick, and Wojcinski marks in the corridor in front, 35 out, and misses his shot for goal. He played on, he could have gone back. But even if he played on, he still should have kicked the goal. Geelong 1-2, Hawthorn 4-2.
Not his best attribute, David Wojcinski.
He kicked 2 long ones last week, though, on the wet. As Gillam kicks to himself, heads to the members' side. Bartell gets a hand across. Tips to the back for Taylor Hunt. Had the hand pass whacked away, though. Hawthorn to collect it half back. Shields can't. Took his eyes off the ball. Geelong with numbers. Bartell over the top. Knocked down by Duncan. Here's a chance for Birchall. Trying to barge his way through. Taylor Hunt did all right for the Cats. Hawthorn no clear. Mitchell offloaded by Chapman. Bounces to Milburn on the members' wing. His pass inside is good now to Joel Selwood. Cats are settling a bit here. His kick, though, can't find a target. Dropped by Rioli. Ling with the intended target. He is gang tackled inside, attacking 50. The umpire says, give it to me, boys. I'll bounce it. Hawthorn 4-2-26. The Cats are 1-2-8. 18 gone in the opening term. Whitey?
Hunt in some trouble. He's coming off. I reckon it's right knee, and he's got 2 trainers with him, guys.
Ball up at centre half forward for the Cats. Birchall slung off his potential kick. Ball spills out to Bateman. Little hand pass to Guerra. Off the left, clears the 50, centre wing. And just as Hunt is being carried off the ground, the ball nearly landed on his head.
Oh.
And the umpire has taken it off Lonergan and given it to Franklin.
What for?
The Shepherd, he said.
So Franklin from centre wing with the free kick. Up short of the 50. Mackie. And sees the ball to the boundary line, and over it goes for a throw-in. Whitey.
That free kick was given because the medical staff were in the way, and I think that's a little unfortunate. When they have to be helping the player off the field, surely.
The throw-in at half forward, rowed by Burgoyne beautifully. A high ball to the goal square, but nobody forward for the Hawks, and an uncontested mark taken by Scarlett in the goal square.
Scarlett dabs in short to the outer back pocket to Enright. What a good player Corey Enright is. 3-time All-Australian. In short,
She
doesn't
is.
find the target. You give a guy a wrap. Lewis gets it to Birchall on his non-preferred right. Can he make them pay? And he misses everything. He's off balance, out of bounds on the full.
Should have unloaded with his hands. He was under terrible frontal pressure. There were 3 of his mates off and around him, back of him, and just went for it. I'm not sure. Had a brain fade.
And he had renowned goal kickers around him, and he's not one of them. Kick in, beautifully marked by Bartell. Half-back flank for the Cats, out in the sunny side of the ground. Kick up towards centre wing. Good run. Terrific lead by Selwood to take the mark. Down the line he goes. Joel Corey marks in between wing and half forward, playing the boundary line as so many teams seem to do these days. Pye started it, won a flag with it. Oh, beautiful kick to the 50, and Chapman takes a mark on his chest. Got more room than you're entitled to get. He runs around the man on the mark, gets to 48. Chappie for goal. Nails a beauty. Well, they conceded the first 4, but they've kicked the last 2. The Cats are 2-2, the Hawks 4-2.
I changed my mind. I think that was Ruffy that was on the mark down there, and the way that he was balked in the kick and didn't know what to do, got confused as to how he should force this man to kick over the mark. He just ran round him, and as only Chapman could do, just put it away with a nonchalant effort. Didn't look too good. But look at the certainly Geelong have started to win the ball, and because when they're in that frame of mind and what's the word, equaling the commitment of their opposition, who happens to be Hawthorn today, their ability with the ball usage, couple of kicks then were just unbelievable. Bartell's mark over there and his forward momentum, just superb use.
Matthew Suckling's had a great start for the Hawks. He's had 8 possessions in the first term. Bounce in the middle. I think they'll go again as a number of players go to ground inside the circles. Chapman and Selwood among them for the Cats.
So Roughhead is now on the ball as the ruckman. This is what they did against Richmond.
Bounce again, Hawkins. Beaten, taken by Shields, high up and under kick. Fisted away with Jinsky, whacks it wide for Stokes. The replacement for Mooney. Handball's outside now to Corey. Has to go backwards because he was under pressure. Set Mackie a task. Did well at centre half back. Falls to Lonigan, a hand pass to Scarlett. Goes the big barrel to the outer wing, but it's all Hawthorn getting back and marking the aforementioned Suckling on that southern side. Shy of the wing. Kicks
Great
towards
kick.
half forward. It's a good kick. Sean Burgoyne marks. Handballs to Mitchell, spinning by. On attacking 50. Good kick. Hale on a lead.
Gee, some of the kicking.
That was a special kick,
wasn't it? Was it Suckling?
Yep.
That's
Beautiful
just
left foot.
a ripping kick, and then the lowering of your, I guess, view there by Mitchell to just hook it round and short, and the big man, no chance of getting to David Hale. He just covered it and going back, have a second shot at goal.
That's Harry Taylor again.
He's getting monstered, isn't he?
Next Kangaroo. He comes in 40 metres out, squeezes it home. He's got a couple, and the Hawks have got 5. 5-2, 32. Geelong at 2-2, 14. Grandstand AFL Easter Tuesday footy at the MCG.
Well, the Hawks have started off in a blaze of glory, and they really took off the first 15 minutes and just destroyed the opposition. But the Cats have fought back in the last couple of goals. But that was just beautiful skill from Suckling from half-back flank. Kicked the ball 55 metres. It wouldn't no higher than 10 foot off the ground, or 3 metres, if you want to call it that, off the ground, onto Mitchell's chest, and then a little chip pass to Hale. Hale's been sensational up there. He gives another option. They all look for Buddy. They all rush to Buddy. But you know what? If you're another tall there and you're in the right spot, you'll get the ball. And that has to be David Hale.
And I'm pleased because what they're doing with Roughhead coming up onto the ball, he's been quite good, competent at centre bounces and drop back and gives them the big man in defence they don't have.
Hale after 2 goals to the bench. Ottens wins the bounce in the middle. Oh, Birchall gets his head taken off. And he's not too good. He's got a free kick for it.
Yeah, but both players were going for the ball, weren't they?
I have a bit of trouble with it. I know
Nothing.
head sank, but did he?
Kelly got him.
Kelly didn't actually
go for the ball.
That's exactly right. Sorry, I was wrong.
Well, they'll look at that, no doubt. Birchall's kick inside the 50. Big pack gathers, there's no mark. It comes to the front to Burgoyne. Spills to Scarlett, who gets it out of there for the Cats. But gathered beautifully by Roughhead, who kicks back to full forward. Milburn in front, doesn't take the mark but keeps the ball out in front, regathers and kicks to Corey, who marks at half-back flank. The Hawks 5-2, the Cats 2-2, 24 minutes played.
Jill Best and fairest winner close to the boundary. Kicks down the MCC members line. Varco gets up and marks. Handballs inside to Duncan. Couldn't control it. When he did, got well tackled by Roughhead, but gave it to Podsiadly. Kicks to half forward. On the bounce to Ling. Worried out of it by Hodge. What a contest that is. Great give by Savage. But in the end, the Hawks run into trouble at centre half forward. Sewell couldn't control it. And Chapman gets a free kick for bearing down on him and grabbing him.
He'll whack this. He makes up his mind. He'll whack this. This will in the second row of the third level. This will.
Gee, it's
sure about that?
It's a big crowd now. It is a really big.
Isn't it? It's almost matched yesterday.
Almost.
Not quite.
In the 80s, I reckon.
Well, we'll know in a couple of hours' time. Fantastic. Chapman, 55 out. Gives it everything. David Parkin, you're a genius.
No, not a genius. He's just a magnificent kick of the ball. It didn't quite make it into the second row of the fence, but it was clean, wasn't it? He's a beautiful producer. Gets just a little quick scissor movement with the foot, mostly accurate, and a lot of people would have said this is beyond him, but well within his capacity. Great goal at a moment. I guess that Geelong Footy Club needs to get every result they can from their inside 50s, which at the moment are significantly less. 9 to 13. 9 to 13.
3-2-20 the Cats. The Hawks 5-2-32. Chapman has a couple. Adam White in the boundary.
Still some genuine concerns, Dan, for Taylor Hunt, who hasn't reappeared from down in the rooms after being carried off the ground earlier on. So we'll just keep an eye on things here, but the Cats could be down a man.
Birchall's plopped his head back on. He's right. He's down at half back. In the middle, Ottens goes to ground. The free kick to Hawthorn, quickly taken by Sewell. Hand pass to Mitchell. Long ball to full forward. Buddy up in the middle of the pack. Run by Rioli. What a sight this is in football. One way, then the other. A snap off the left is hooked it too much. Misses to the right-hand side. Oh, but keep coming to the football to watch number 33 play the case.
He's a ripper.
Oh, love it. In short from Milburn to Lonergan down the MCC member side. And at half back, Podsiadly cutes it inboard. Duncan, Kelly feeds to Chapman, farms it off to Varco. Look out, son. Gibson's there. Good hand pass to Ling. Through traffic, push late. Goal, goal! Goal for goal at the MCG. It's looking like it'll be a classic again.
Well, Mark, we talked about momentum shifts. We've had an absolute dominance by Hawthorn for the first, 9, 10, maybe even longer. And then they started to get a look at the ball and now are playing with the kind of confidence that Hawthorn started the game with, and there's been a bit of hesitation from the Hawks. I love the modern game in that you can see a 5-1 start and you think, well, this is going to be a disaster of a day. We're going to have a 20-5 loss here by some team, but the capacity to get themselves back into the game and then to use the great skills. It's exciting football to watch. If you came today, this is Australian football at its best.
Hawthorn 5-3-33. The Cats are 4-2, 26, 28 travelled almost in the opening term.
7-point lead to the Hawks. Ottens wins in the ruck, but Mitchell sharks it for the Hawks. He's kicked to half forward. It comes off. Rioli has a chance. Beaten to it on this occasion by Enright. Well played, son. A hand pass across the half-back line. Lonergan gathers. Stokes under pressure. The hand pass to Johnson. Done absolutely nothing, Stevie J. Hand pass up in the air taken by Rioli. Slung to the ground. A good tackle by Kelly. On all fours is Mackie. The hand pass close to the boundary line. Centre wing right below us. Gee, actually, Johnson had his head over the ball and was taken high by Mitchell. Johnson gets the free kick. Sammy, you can't be doing that.
No, that might be looked at too.
Yeah, looks not good.
Johnson's kick is an absolute shocker as he gets it in towards midfield. Enright gets the hand pass away to Mackie, who's run down from behind. Sewell gathers the bouncing ball. We're in the middle of the centre square. Little hand pass, Kelly. Comes out eventually to Corey. His kick inside the 50. Podsiadly couldn't bend down for it. Stokes can. Slings out a hand pass blindly to Suckling, who somehow gets boot to ball. Chopped off by Ottens. His hand pass is poor. Ottens follows up and gets it again himself. Wojcinski outside of his boot. Inside the 50. Bartel nearly a chest mark. Buffeted to ground. It comes to Guerra. Hot pace here at the MCG.
Loving every single minute of it. In the end, it's seen over the boundary. The hard-nosed Birchall Wojcinski with him right in front of the members, inside attacking 50 for the Cats at the City end.
This is the best football I've seen from two teams at the one time this round. It's been fantastic.
7-point lead to the Hawks. Ottens leans in, rode by Wojcinski, can't get boot to ball. Great tackle, Big Renouf, and he gets support from Shields, throws it on the boot, and it'll roll towards the boundary for Hawthorn at half back.
Tell you what, it's taking a lot out of the players too. There's about 20 of the 22 on each side looking for petrol tickets right now.
Back into play, Reynolds flicks to the front, roved cleverly by Stokes, feigns a hand passing, got it out to Duncan, runs into trouble, pops it to Kelly, kicks Geelong inside 50, over the head of Gibson, free kick, Geelong player bowled over, it's the Pods, James Hodsey-Adley 15 out, can you believe it? He'll cut the margin to 1 point right on quarter time.
And it's a right free kick, and it's a smaller boat trying to deal with a bigger and stronger boat when you're caught behind, and that's what you tend to do as a natural instinct. Free kick was there, umpire's right, matchup's wrong.
Well, it was a free kick yesterday against Dustin Fletcher. That was dead set a free kick then against Gibson.
So Hodsey-Adley, who was one of the finds of the season last year, kicking 49 goals in his debut season. 28-year-old, 3 so far this year. Make that 4, not going to miss from 20 out. And the Cats are 5-2-32, Hawthorn are 5-3-33. What a first quarter of footy it's been at the MCG. And you with Adam White on grandstand on the boundary.
Thanks, Dan. Parker was talking before about being a really hot first quarter. No doubt about that from ground level. But Geelong's been going with only 2 on the bench for the last 15 minutes as they work out what to do with Taylor Hunt. So they've really got to make a decision very quickly. My feeling is that Hunt will be out of the game very shortly. It's a knee problem, and it won't be too long, I think, until Menzel is activated, because they just can't afford to only be rotating 2 off the bench in such a hot game.
We talked about tall forwards, and they're the 2 tall forwards in Hawkins, and now with Pods kick to goal. Makes a big difference when you bang it in there quickly, especially with a game so hot as this.
Hawks kicked the first 4 goals. They've been reeled in, and the Cats within 1 point. Ottens wins the hit out in the middle. Hasn't come out of the circles yet. It's a real scrap. And eventually Corey does get the hand pass away to Mackie. He palms off a would-be tackler, loses control of the ball. He's gone. Hawthorn free kick to be taken by Mitchell, who's getting a heap of it at the start like he did last round. Off to Rioli, the kick to full forward. Franklin found himself behind. Burgoyne in front, gets the hand pass in, but it's chopped off by Lonergan for the Cats. Through Scarlett it goes. And now out of defence, across in front of goal. Milburn takes the mark. The kick towards the 50. A one-hander taken by Ottens. Well done, big fella.
Having a great start to the year. Hits the ground running on the members' wing. Kicks to 2-on-1. Gibson went up, allowing Ling to get it, but he slips over. Hawthorn still a chance. Gibson took a while to grab it. Did he drag it back in as the cavalry arrived?
He's gone.
He is gone. He is gone. Whether he can get rid of it or not, that's the rule. And a Geelong free kick.
It's a dumb decision. He dived on it over about 5 blokes and dragged it back, and then lay there, didn't even attempt to get it out. And he's arguing with the umpire now as to why it should be free kick.
Whitey.
It's going on down here. Hodsey-Adley limping from the field. Got a corky in that marking contest.
Stokes handballs to Bartel. Goes for the ball burster towards full forward. Hodge didn't know where it was as he knocked it away. Slips to Rioli. Good play to have in a crisis. Kicks across the face. Cooley. Battle between Corey and Young. I know who I'll back here. Young takes the ball and races away in the sunshine around the Great Southern stand side. Not a great kick towards half forward. Scarlett's there to chop it off. He'll run away comfortably. Get Geelong to half back to Chapman. Feeds an inside ball to Enright. The old firm combining, and his kick finds Taylor in the middle. Cats trail by a point close to quarter time.
Played 33 minutes in an absolute rib tickler, which has produced 10 goals. It's up with Steve Johnson at the 50. Slings out a hand pass. Doesn't go anywhere. Gathered by Rioli. Right on the siren. You love your footy. You'd absolutely be licking your chops with that quarter of football. Hawthorn 5-3-33. Geelong 5-2-32. And players hands on knees, really sucking in the big ones after a quarter which went 33 and a quarter minutes of frenetic action at the MCG. For the Hawks, Franklin, the first 2 goals. Hale kicked 2, Roughhead kicked a goal. And for the Cats, 2 goals to Chapman and singles for Hawkins, Hodsey-Adley and Ling. Quarter time here. Hawthorn 5-3, lead Geelong 5-2.
That'll be the first time Geelong have been that far ahead of their opposition in the defensive aspects of the game. So well done to Geelong.
1 point ball game at quarter time. Hawthorn 33, leading the Cats 32. Ottens the tap. Chance for the Hawks. Quick kick coming through by Ladson. May have jarred his ankle. Franklin didn't go after it. He allowed his teammate Bateman to take his handball. Didn't find a target, so he goes back and gets it again, but slips over on the members' wing. Handballs to Franklin. Picked it up easily, but handballs it straight to Selwood. Well tackled by Bateman. Bartel, great hands to Varco. Geelong into attack to the punt road end. Steve Johnson out of position. Gibson with him. Ball hits the ground. Gibson battles on. May have got one without the football, and he did. He'll take the free kick 20 out from the goal he's defending.
That's what you want, a good battle in front of goal when two guys are going at it, and you hold your feet, you hold your ground. Gibson did very well, kept the ball in front of him at all times.
And you hold your breath.
We do.
Gibson's hand pass out the back, cleared by Gillam. He's kicked a half-back flank to a pack, knocked forward by Ottens. Comes here to Young. He's on the right boot, down the line. Oh, terrific kick from his non-preferred, and the mark has been taken by Franklin. What a delivery to Rioli, forward of the wing. He half thought of playing on, then spins around and kicks towards the 50. Not his best disposal, looking for Mitchell. Chopped off by Harry Taylor. Throws it on the left boot and kicks a half-distance ball out short of the wing. Franklin becomes the tackler on Corey. Milburn, the hand pass out to Corey. Rioli's in this contest again, 1 against 1 near the boundary line. Corey does well to paddle the ball to Lonergan, but it's chopped off. Taken there by Shields. Oh, back to Gibson, who has a fumble on the wing. Shields again. He's taken over the boundary line by Ottens. There's no addition to the score. It's 5-3 to 5-2.
They're slipping over all over the place because the dew on the ground, on this side of the ground, because of the shade, has made a big difference, and they're all wearing rubber soles.
Boundary throw in. Tap to the front by Renorth. Good roving by Ladson, who's had a pretty good start to the year this year on the right foot, on the members. Kicks to half forward. That fell off the shoulder blade of Lonergan of Geelong. Slips to Bateman, a hand pass to Mitchell by hand to Shields of the Hawks. Kicks inside 50. No one can mark. Flying was Roughhead. Good tap away by Hale. Roughhead a chance in the forward pocket on the outer side. Gathers. Tackled. Has to get rid of it in a hurry. Now Lewis is there. Handballs over the head looking for his teammate in Bruce. But it's a throw. And a Geelong free kick in the back pocket on the southern side. It's still the Cats trailing by a point at the 2.5 minute mark.
The two Bs, Burgoyne and Bruce, need to do a bit. They've been significant by their absence so far, and they're experienced players, and they'll need to find something in this match or Hawthorn can't win.
Yeah, Lewis threw it. He's only had one possession. Ball out short of centre wing, and Ranoff in front position takes the mark, sweeps the hand pass back. Gathered by Gillam, squares the ball into Suckling, in the circles, right in the bullseye. Wow, left footer, 65 metres to full forward. Lewis from behind, tries the punch. It comes down to the front to the Cats, and they're going to get out of this. Across the half-back line, the hand pass comes to Bartel, who doesn't take possession. He tries to flip the ball up the ground to Steve Johnson. Good contest by Guerra. Well done again by Brent Guerra. He got in, he got the ball to Gibson to Rioli. What a pass, Rioli, onto the chest of Roughhead. And they'll thank Brent Guerra for that.
Give that one to the hairpiece man. He was very, very good, Guerra. Then he held his line and barreled the ball in the bloke and came out the other side and caused a bit of havoc. I think he's hurt himself in the effort, but it was a very gutsy effort.
And you get no statistics for that?
Probably not. No. Knock on in our day.
You wouldn't want to ruffle his hair. You might get a handful. In comes Roughhead from 52 metres. His left footer is left all the way and marked on the behind line by Ottens, just in the field of play. Gets the hand pass away and the Cat's out again.
Milburn to Selwood. Running in a zigzag fashion in the end. Kicks close to the boundary on the members, and Podsiadly marks. Defensive side of the wing. Kicks down this side again, looking for Ling. 2 to beat, and Gillam picks it off. Goes backwards by foot to Hodge at half-back. Hawthorn have numbers. At centre half-back, the mark taken by Suckling, getting a lot of it. Kicks around the corner. And Birchall, all these left-footers, down the line to Bruce, the former Demon. And he's on the outer wing in the sunshine.
He needed to wheel and go.
Too slow.
Too slow. Needed to wheel and go. That's bad habit. Long kick will just come straight back.
That's a Melbourne habit.
Kicks in the direction of Hale. Can't mark it off hands. At the drop, Milburn gathers. Gets the kick half smothered. Ricochets towards Duncan. Can't get into it. Hawthorn have it again.
Go off the round.
That's another mistake.
Free kick for a throw against Bruce.
Yeah, and Bruce this is a worry for the Hawks, because Bruce has come from a culture that hasn't been up to this sort of standard, and he plays in a game where it's real hot, and you've got to make decisions in a hurry. Made 2 bad ones in a row.
Decent 50-metre penalty for Milburn, who
3 in a row. Missed his man too.
Let him go, didn't he? So we watched him here. He was arguing with the umpire and throwing his arms and legs around while his man's run off and got used.
Selwood took the mark as a result, and he goes down to Menzel, who marks just inside the boundary line. Menzel, the substitute, who was on at quarter time after Taylor Hunt injured and out of the game. Daniel Menzel, boundary line 45 metres, southern stand at the punt road end to the goal square. Otten's in front, can't take the mark. It comes to Rioli, slippery as an eel, and a little pass out of there is good, and the mark taken by Savage.
Savage kicks long to the members. Franklin a couple to beat. Give Lance a chance. Didn't go into it at the end, but Taylor dropped the mark. Luckily, Enright was there for the crumb. Handballs to Chapman. Handballs to Taylor. Back to Enright. Kicks through traffic towards full forward. Hodge gets a little fist on it. Slides off the fist towards the boundary. And I wonder if that's off the foot of Steve Johnson. It is. Well done, Sellers. Ladson with the free kick. Will go backwards. No, he's got to go and kick over the mark.
It's the tempo's gone down a bit, hasn't
it? Well, it's tense.
Well, you know what? They haven't scored in 6.5 minutes. By this stage in the first quarter, they've scored about 4. Ran a free kick from half back. Harry Taylor flies in front and takes the mark. And Buddy had his heels on the ground.
What they've done, Drew, is they've actually manned up on them. They're not giving him any space. The Hawks haven't got that room for that small, short kick to get started again.
It's 5-3 to 5-2. The Hawks by a point. The kick down the line towards half forward. Off hands, out of bounds.
It's lost its continuous nature, hasn't it? So it's stopping and starting, and people are going back and aren't taking risks to play on. It's just changed it totally as a game.
Yep, at half forward for the Cats at the throw-ins. Mitchell thrown to ground. Hawkins gets the spill. His hand pass away, looking for Bartell. Running onto it, Kelly, but goes without it. There might be high tackling here on the 50. That's the way the umpire sees it. Stokes the recipient. Hand pass out the back door to Bartell. He fumbled the ball and then throws it on the left boot and kicks it 45 metres. Podsy Adley, the only chance there.
1 against 4.
Oh, Pods has an air swing. Taken away by Hodge. Hand pass. Young to Birchall, and Birchall was met coming the other way by Duncan, and the ball's out of play, out in the sunshine, throw in on the 50.
Well, I know he's looking a bit frayed at the moment. The Hawks aren't looking too good at all.
Still the Hawks by a point. Boundary throwing, slips to the back to Lewis, a hand pass to Mitchell, rides a couple of tackles inside defensive 50, got it out to Sean Burgoyne, racing across the defensive 50. A Shepherd helps him out. He finds Suckling on the MCC member side.
You're gone
held
too.
Up in a Menzel tackle, as is Sean Burgoyne, whose hand pass will find the boundary. Bartell did well. Their pressure's immense at the moment, Geelong. Hawthorn can't get it outside their defensive area too often, and they remain 5-3-33. The Cats at 5-2-32.
Gee, at any stage the Hawks could have kicked it up to a one-on-one contest between Franklin and Lonergan. I know I'd back. Bartell slings out the hand pass. And one comes to Varco. He lost it. Comes to Mitchell. Mitchell's kick out in the open. Here go the Hawks. Young marks inside the centre square. A raking left footer all the way to full forward. Hale is there. Slips through his hands. Franklin close to the goal square. He's going to have a chance here, buddy. But it's swept off the ground by Taylor. The hand pass comes to Kelly. Up the ground to Chapman at centre halfback. Chapman's short pass out short of the wing. Varco gathers. It's still a 1-point lead to the Hawks. No score yet in this quarter, and we've been playing 9 minutes. Ling has it. Goes the short pass inside the 50. Stevie J unselfishly to Wojcinski, but missed him right out in front of goal. Wojo gets back after it. He's lost ground. He's outside the 50. Back into Ling, and Ling takes the mark. The Hawks were flat-footed. They were gassed.
But it started in the back half. They're just playing so well together, and not inclusively of numbers that they have down at Geelong. Geelong are just beating their blokes in the back half, one-on-one, running off, using it, getting that thrust out of back half, and Hawthorn just haven't been able to stay with them at the moment.
Harry Taylor's the one.
He's been terrific.
Cameron Ling from about 45 metres. Well, it's the first score of the quarter, but only a behind. The scores are level, 33 apiece, 5 goals, 3.
I'm just finding hard to come to grips with how the game could change so rapidly. In the manner which it's being played. The teams were taking the risk and Hawthorn are taking none now.
Suckling in short to Geelong. His kick. Didn't get to Franklin, who was lurking. Menzel marks on the wing. MCC member side and inboarding it to Enright. Magnificent defender Corey Enright goes back to Scarlett, scooping it up on the bounce. Back to Enright. That kick from Enright slightly careless. Wants to be more precise this time. It is. And Menzel marks in front of the dugouts. In short again. Wojcinski can't hang on to it. Savage with him. Rioli collects nicely. Guerra, Franklin and Savage combining by hand. Shields busts through a tackle. Back to Savage. He does well to sidestep through one. Bateman to Franklin. Lonergan hangs on to him. Rioli's there. And Lewis, great hands, Hawthorn. Savage met late. Gets boot to ball. Roughhead's out of the contest. Pushes Taylor away. But he's pushed him away illegally. Geelong free kick in defence.
Not sure about that one, Mark. I don't know you saw that.
Well, I don't know how you see him these days, but if you are touching them in the back and pushing them under the ball, that is a free kick.
The kick out of defence by the Cats, taken by Ladson. He's run down from behind. Terrific tackle by Varco. The crumbs come away and the advantage taken by the Cats. They're already to half forward. Standing his ground, Bartell takes the mark, steers the pass. Podsiadly takes the mark. 25 to 30 metres from goal. They went from one end of the ground to the other after it was deemed that Roughhead interfered, and now the Cats with a shot for goal.
Well, they're being dominated with pressure. Hawthorn none. Then the pressure's not going to Geelong, and therefore the skill level, which is equal to anybody in the competition, is now dominating the game. There's got to be a massive change in mindset for Hawthorn. They've lost total control and initiative in this game. Total control and initiative.
Podsiadly, a goal in the first quarter. Looking for the first goal of this second quarter. No, another miss. That's amazing. 10 goals in the first term. We're about the midway point of the second, and we are goalless. Geelong 5-4 to 5-3. Adam White.
They could.
Sorry, Mark. In fairness to Podsiadly, he's really struggling with that leg, and that's his anchoring leg when he's kicking his right leg, and he can't put any pressure on it. It's affecting his kicking.
They've had two chances, two really good chances. One was Stevie J and Pods. You could pay for this later.
Suckling in short to Mitchell. Suckling kept running. Kick to the wing. Mackey couldn't take it. Cleanly spills to the back. Roughhead. Handballs to Young. He'll steady from 20. He breaks the deadlock in this quarter. Hawks get the first major after 12 minutes.
Well, can I say a bit of initiative was used there? Played on. Even Mitchell with his back to where he was going, played on, went sideways, and with some excellent usage. All ball over the top, and you give Young a chance into the open. He's pretty good on that. Not so good at the contested possession stuff, but he's very good on the end of it, and he running in was good night. But that's there's a bit of a, flip around of where the game has been. That was clean usage from one to the other. What we saw early in the game, we haven't seen it all in this quarter. One opportunity, I don't know whether it helps Hawthorn to get the initiative back, but that's the way they were playing early. That's risk-taking. And if you don't take risks this game, you're not going to win, particularly against Geelong.
Yep, Clinton Young had kicked 2 goals 6 before that. That goal on the run. 6-3 to 5 goals 4. 5-point lead to the Hawks. In the middle. Rove by Sewell. Here they come again. A long kick to full forward. Roughhead well placed. Ball's punched away. Comes down to the front. Chance for Burgoyne. But it's swept off the ground and towards the boundary line by Mackey. Good defending by the former South Australian. Ball out of play.
Just mind his own business, Maggie. He's had a great year this year. Things hasn't gone his way. Even though he's just relaxing, thinking it's all over, and he got pummeled.
Here's the throw in on the forward line for the Hawks. Hale in ruck. Not sure he got his hand to it. Ball spills to the back. Savage, a high ball. It's gone 50 metres. 25 up and 25 down. The mark is claimed and actually paid to Milburn in defence. I know that carried the distance, and his kick out of defence marked by Bartell.
Goes to the ground. In shade now as Bartell delivers to the MCC members' side. Chapman up. Guerra does well to make a contact.
Well,
and in fact, he gets a free kick.
I saw it the other way.
Chapman had budged him out of the way as he kicks in towards the forward pocket. And Franklin's right out of this one, and Taylor floats in and marks. Quick gift to Scarlett. Runs across the goal face now. Heading towards the outer side, looking to draw a man Hale, who zones off him. Now he feeds over the top to Milburn. Another give by hand to Joel Selwood. Selwood looking to kick down the line to Mackie. He and Wojcinski, a lack of talking. Luckily, Mackie takes the mark.
Good sign, actually.
Yeah, very good sign.
Yeah, they both want it. He delivers wide to Steve Johnson. The kick's not a good sign. Steve Johnson can't track it out of bounds on the wing. Opportunity lost for the Cats, who trail by 5 points.
You suddenly realise why they're so good coming out, Geelong, because not one Hawthorn forward was chasing, not one.
Here's the throw in at centre wing. It comes to Kelly at the back. The whistle is gone. It's going to be a free kick.
Play on,
the umpire saying play on. Whose free kick was it and where are we? We're inside the 50. Podgy Adley, a little hand pass out. Wojcinski spun round on the tackle. Ball! No, said the umpire. Hodge has it. Threads out the hand pass to Rioli. Off to Franklin, breaking from defence. Back to Rioli. Here goes Buddy, but Rioli's hand pass missed him. Now Franklin becomes the tackler. And it was a beauty too on Lonergan. Gathered by Burgoyne. Hand pass a bit slick for Bruce. Back to Franklin for the third time. Longer full forward. Harry Taylor. He's made a good comeback, Harry.
Has he ever?
Get him off, Buddy, you're right.
Pumps a hand pass to Scarlett, likewise to Corey. Farms it wide out of side to Menzel. Kicks Geelong to the wing. In some sunshine out there, and Duncan. Duncan under pressure from Sewell. Goes a bit sideways, but his kick's okay. Finds Hawkins. He's at half forward, looking to head to the punt road end. Feigns around an opponent, kicks to full forward. Podgy Adley, one out with Gibson. Ball hits the ground. Wojcinski there. Can he keep it alive under pressure from Hodge? Handballs to Steve Johnson. Beats one, beats two, snaps and hits the post. Cats can't buy a goal this quarter. 5-5-35. Hawthorn 6-3-39 on Grandstand AFL. Adam White.
You can really sense Alistair Clarkson feeling this is a very important part of the game. He's up on the bench. He's talking to the players as soon as they come off the ground. Talking to the players on the bench. He senses a big 5 minutes.
Guerra, terrific kick in, but Shields drops a mark outside the 50. Somehow the Hawks were good enough to gather. And Sewell kicks out wide to Rioli, who takes the mark already at half forward. A short ball in and the mark juggled, but marked by Lewis. Being very quiet, Geordie Lewis. The kick for Roughhead, who marks deep inside the 50, but out wide about 6 paces in from the boundary line. 39-35, 4-point lead to the Hawks. 17 minutes played, second quarter. Both teams have the bye next week, and after today they'll need it. Roughhead off the left. Perfect. Gets his second goal.
Well, that's one thing, Mark, that's Ruffy's shortened his run-up. There's a minimal amount of time to think about missing it. I like that routine, if you like. He's certainly converting, I think, at a far better rate now, isn't he, than he was last year.
That's now 10 goals, 3 for the year.
10 goals, 3 for the year, and it was probably 3 goals, 10 at the same time last year. So they got the ball in. At least he got on his bike, and they were able to lower their horizons and hit him in space. And it was a reasonably, 45-degree angle over a reasonable distance, and he's put it away. But look, the game might be in balance. I don't know whether you get a sense and feel for where it is at the moment, Mark. But the strength of momentum that was with Geelong's just dissipated a fraction.
Need one the Cats. The bounce will favour Ottens. Down to Corey. Can't track it. Joel Selwood lends him support. Kicks the Cats inside 50 towards Chapman. Clean bowls him and Guerra, his man. Guerra paddles backwards to Hodge. His close mate. Close to the boundary. Can't keep it in. Ling is right with him. And it'll be thrown back into play. 55 around from Hawthorn's defensive goal at the punt road end.
My thoughts are the Cats wasted too many opportunities at the start. Now they broke their own heart with it. And the Hawks at some stage are going to get a run.
2 goals to none for Hawthorn this quarter. Hale the tap, missed by Mitchell. Comes down to Ladson in the end after Otten's hand pass was chopped off. Lewis goes up, couldn't mark it at ground level. Milburn fetches it out to Bartel. It was on the up. Got it wide now to Duncan. Duncan hooking Geelong inside 50 towards the punt road end. Gillam can't take the mark, but he manages to escort it over the boundary. 10 metres around from Geelong's goal.
Chris is not comfortable now. He's tracking Bartel, and Bartel's going forward. I wouldn't like that job.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Boundary throw in. Hale in front. Wins. Gets it down to Young. Can't shrug the tackle. Gets the hand pass to Mitchell, who's run over the boundary line by Stokes. And we get a throw in. Forward pocket.
Don't discount the Cats. The Cats came back from 4 goals in the first quarter in about 5 minutes. They can do it again, but they're just stodgy at the moment.
And in recent seasons, they've come from behind Hawthorn to pip them. They've won their last 4 clashes. Cats get it out here. Chapman hand pass going backwards. Enright loses it. Gathered by Ladson. Little underground kick through the pack. Suckling's had a terrific season. Gets it again. The hand pass up towards midfield. Roughhead working near the circles. Back to Bateman. Hand pass further back. And the kick by Birchall. Inside the 50. Just slightly missed the target there with Shields. And they've lost it. The hand pass by Menzel is chopped off. Shields hoists it high towards full forward. All hoops back there. Taken by Scarlett in his milestone game. Not the best of kicks. Punch forward. Comes to Renoff. He's slow as a glacier. And he's caught holding the ball. Geelong free kick.
Why do they play big blokes in this game?
Don't kick it to them.
Goodness me. I actually think they can play. That's the worst part about it.
Their job is to ruck. Some could. Selwood goes wide. Not a good one. Intercepted by Lewis. Paddles to his own advantage. Centering ball. He's got options everywhere. And Sean Burgoyne marks. How often does Joel Selwood make a kicking skill error like that? Not often. And it looks like Hawthorn might make him pay the ultimate price.
Oh, gee, I cannot remember. And I've watched him play a lot of footy, and it was a dead set straightforward, wasn't it, Mark? There was no pressure on the kicker. The man was free and clear, and he missed him clean. Absolutely.
Hawks for their third goal in this term to open up a handy advantage at the 21-minute mark. It's 10 at the moment. Sean Burgoyne, we have touched on it, hasn't had a huge day so far, just 5 possessions. Averaging 19 for the season and 9 goals. Make that his 10th goal, puts it through. 8-3-51 the Hawks. The Cats are 5-5-35.
You never let Sean Burgoyne get loose inside 50. He is a freak. But Joel Selwood, that is unbelievable mistake. The side has actually busted their backside to get into this game. They've had the first 10 minutes up forward and they've missed goals from Ling. Also from, who was the other one? Pods missed one, easy one. There's 2. They probably had 3 or 4 others that they could have got. And all of a sudden, you know what? You pay the ultimate price. 3 goals to the Hawks in 1 quarter. In about 10 minutes, when they looked like they were gone down and out, all of a sudden the mistake-ridden side of the Hawks has moved over to the Cats.
16-point lead to the Hawks at the 22-minute mark of the second quarter. Bounce back in the middle. Hale camped underneath it. Comes to Sewell. Left foot kick, just a scrubby old kick taken by Taylor. His hand pass into Milburn. He's kicked back towards the centre of the ground. Hawkins takes the mark. Beautiful kick by Hawkins. Out wide. Stevie J marks 55 out from goal. Funny old kick. Diving attempt by Ottens close to the behind post. No mark. And he's wrapped up. The ball in the field of play. The umpire's going to ball it up.
Stevie J's kidding, isn't he? What is he actually doing?
Well, that's what I'm looking at you, trying to work out what he's...
Now would you look at me?
Was he trying to go into a torpedo and underground, was it?
I have no idea.
Here's this ruck contest close to goal for the Cats. Kelly, a hand pass out the back door. Stokes on all fours, back to Kelly, to Ling. Hurried kick. Was it touched? It's bouncing towards the behind line and goes through for a minor score. The Cats go to 5-6. They've kicked 4 behinds this quarter. Hawthorn are 8 goals 3. They've kicked 3 straight this quarter.
Weira dabs in short to Birchall. Southern side. Another one to Suckling. Knocked up getting it. His foot pass is exquisite to Mitchell. On defensive 50, kicks down by Wing and Harry. Taylor having a blind at Bruce was hoping it would spill to the back. Taylor flew and outmarked him comprehensively on the wing.
Having a nightmare early. He's just woken up. It's just fantastic at the moment.
And he switches to the MCC members side, right across the centre square to Menzel. Menzel pokes through traffic and Joel Selwood can make amends for his mistake a minute ago. Floats on his own, takes the mark running with the flight in the left forward pocket at the punt road end. And Alistair Clarkson's not happy.
Well, where was the defence? Who went with him?
Oh, I'm not sure it was Mitchell's man or Guira who was running with him. They let Mitchell's man and they both looked at each other, said, where were you?
This is key. They must get this.
Just 4 behinds, as Drew mentioned, for the term. Joel Selwood again shoots and just gets it in. Oh, hearts in mouth stuff for Geelong supporters. They're 9 points behind on Grandstand AFL. Close to half-time, 24.5 played there, 6-6-42. Hawks 8-3-51.
Well, you've got to commend his work rate. He was the bloke who was defended viciously deep in their 50 a minute ago, and he's the one who had the strength of mind and the body to run himself into their 50 to get the one over the top, clean and clear of his opponent, and was rewarded. I don't know how they do that, focus and get themselves under control after an output like that. Just snuck in, but it did, and it's very much a match-saving or life-saving goal at this point for Geelong.
Harry Taylor's up to 13 disposals, 8 contested. So after a slow start, hasn't he come back? Selwood out of the middle again. Oh, what a clearance by the Cats. And his kick out wide to Stevie Johnson, who gets to 49 metres. What this time? Doesn't make the distance. He hooked it left. It just cleared the pack and goes through for a minor score.
Yeah, get a chance of that. Selwood, Franklin lined up on Stevie Johnson on the wing. Stevie Johnson ran forward and left Franklin.
The kick by Suckling lands with Hale on the bounce. A hand pass to Birchall, ends up with Lewis just shy of the centre circles. And a bit more of it so far this quarter, Lewis. And he's on the left, he loads up, he kicks towards centre half forward, using the body, but awkwardly Renouf. Geelong free kick, spills off hands, Kelly will play on. Handball to Duncan, took his eye of it at centre half forward, pushes it back on the up to Kelly, who helped the young fellow out. And now he swings it by switching to the outer side to Enright. Left-handed hand pass to Milburn. The old firm combining down back for the Cats. He stabs in short to Varco. Varco's tackled by Mitchell, good enough to get a hand pass out. Now Geelong a chance through Wojcinski. Scarlett cruising through the middle. Kicks inside 50. Podsiadly couldn't take the mark. Gibson got a hand on it late. Spilling to the back. Mopped up by Sewell of the Hawks. Quick hand pass to Suckling. Another possession out wide to Hodge, who marks it half back. No harm done in the end for the Hawks, who lead by 9 points.
Should always take those out in front, stretch your arms. Pod's tried to take a chest mark, knocked away.
In fact, 8 points.
That was terrific. How often do you see the fullback pass it with a full forward? Should have been a mark and a kick for goal. Scarlett well up the ground. Shields for Hawthorn. Delivers a pass on the bounce. Geordie Lewis needs better delivery than that today, but he's good enough to regather. And his kick goes astray, and the mark taken by Ottens.
Lewis's fault. I mean, not Lewis's fault. The ball landed in front of Lewis, and he put under terrible pressure the kick that should have hit him.
Well, there's the siren for half-time. We had a cricket score in the first quarter, and it was a doer struggle in that quarter. Hawthorn 8 goals 3. They kicked 3 goals straight in that quarter, and Geelong at half-time 6-7, 1 goal 5 for the second term. So at the long break, an 8-point lead to the Hawks, 8-3-51 to Geelong, 6 goals 7, 43. For Hawthorn, Franklin 2 early goals and found it hard to get the ball since. Hale 2 goals, Roughhead 2, Burgoyne and Young with singles. And for Geelong, their goals have come from Chapman, who has 2, and singles for Selwood, Hawkins, Podsiadly and Ling. At half-time at the MCG, Hawthorn 8-3-51, Geelong 6-7-43.
Mark McClure and David Parkin with their comments before we have some news and a sports update here at the MCG on an interesting first half of footy. And the Hawks sellers have an 8-point lead, 8-3-51 to 6-7-43.
Well,
in fact, David will go first.
No, one quick comment was that we hope that the approach, if you like, the intensity and the style that was offensive in nature wouldn't change. I actually made that plea at quarter time. Well, we went from 10 goals scored in the first quarter to 4 in the second quarter. If there wasn't a change in stance, it's sort of the boxes in the beginning rounds, we've transferred that into the second quarter of the game. And you're quite right, Mark, there was less risk-taking, in my opinion, that is in leaving a man to get to the ball and also playing on consistently. We're terrified to go in case our numbers were against us, and so we started to play, I thought, some fairly stodgy football, and that indecision became like a disease across both teams. And certainly Geelong, who had grabbed the initiative back totally and were bowling along in the second quarter, all of a sudden looked like a team that didn't know quite when to go and how to go. So unfortunately the game changed a bit, both in intensity and the style, which quite frankly, for those who saw the first quarter, if you got here late, you weren't not enjoying you missed the best part of the game so far.
I thought it's an interesting quarter. When you have a look at the scores, you know, the Hawks kicked 3 goals straight and the Cats kicked 1 goal 5. So that's 6 shots to 3 for the quarter and got flogged. And that's not how the game was played. The game was played in all the Cats' half. I thought that they were terrific early, had plenty of the ball, had a few flippant type things. Stevie Johnson is just fooling about down there. Sometimes he would drive you crazy. Seriously, coach him. And
he can kick the ball into a garbage bin, but there aren't any out there.
No, I know he can do anything, but not today. He's not doing much at all. He's trying to be too smart and too fancy. Get back to basics, son, and do what you do best. And they had, all of a sudden, they got some, after they missed those 3 or 4 goals up early, and then in the middle of the ground, the ball bounces up, and Sewell, 2 takeaways straight away. All of a sudden, 2 goals. Burgoyne, Young, and Roughhead get 3 goals for the game, and that was the end of the quarter. They just couldn't get back in until Sewell knocked that one at the end, just scraped in through the edge, and that gave them some chance. Look, they're not out of the game by any means, the Cats. 1 goal 5. All they got to do is straighten themselves up and sort themselves out slightly, and this is going to be a real contest in the second half.
Yeah, we look forward to it. It's Hawthorn 8-3-51, looking for their first win over the Cats since their premiership win in 2008. Geelong 6-7-43, Hawthorn 3 goals to 1 in that second term. We've got plenty more football left here on Grandstand. It's been a huge weekend, but we hope the best is still to come.
There's a limit to the work he can do.
If he hasn't done a full pre-season now, he'll probably never do a full pre-season.
Exactly right.
Second half gets underway. An 8-point lead to the Hawks. 8-3 to 6 goals 7. The bounce in the middle, and Renouf might have got his hand to it. Ball comes down to Corey of the Cats. Flings out a hand pass. Chapman in front, taken to ground. Fights hard for it at ground level. Grabbed by Bartel. Hand pass to Corey. Little one to Kelly inside the centre square. Kelly's kick to centre half forward. Johnson stands there, jumped all over by Gibson, who gets a 2-fister to the ball. Comes back to the 50. This bloke will tidy it up. Rioli gathers. Hand pass away to Burgoyne. Running off him is Bruce. Almost does a U-turn. Gets it out to Mitchell. Now to Renouf. Back to Bruce. Bruce's pass too high for Franklin. Inside the 50. Dashing back there is Kelly for the Cats to gather. Hand pass to Taylor. Taylor does an old 1-2 with Milburn. Now to Lonergan, who can't pick it up just outside the 50. Eventually does. Back to Taylor, to Ling. Lots of hand passes, Cat style. Scarlett pretty well up the ground. And a long way down the ground is Podsiadly to get it at behind the wing. Very high ball. Shocking kick for the forwards. Off hands, taken away by Sewell.
Hand pass to Mitchell. On the right, has a player on his own hail. Takes the mark. Handballs to Shields. Sets sail from 52 to the punt road end and just misses to the right-hand side of behind. Hawthorn, their first behind since the first quarter, 8-4-52. The Cats 6-7-43. Whitey?
Bit of an injury concern there for Brent Guerra in the middle at the moment, just in that marking contest before. He's certainly got an issue to his left side. Not sure whether it's a corky or a bit of maybe an ankle problem.
Kick into Stokes, who was a last-minute replacement from the side. He got the 3 Brownlow votes in this game last year. Steve Johnson has it now. There's a free kick here. A mark was taken. There was shepherding in the marking contest.
But they never pay that. It happens every single time a ball goes to a 2-on-1. One bloke just protects the other one.
But it's against Selwood, and it's a shocking free kick. About a 14-metre pass, and it is chopped off by Joel Corey.
Well, I think Suckling realised that was a joke free kick.
He shouldn't have given it to him, so he's given it back to the opposition.
I think so. It's like a soul soccer thing. You know?
And now Bartel marks on centre wing. He kicks to half forward where the mark's taken by Steve Johnson. Yeah. Centering ball to Chapman on the 50, and Chapman right in front takes the mark. And maybe Guerra was inconvenienced then because he didn't close down the gap to Chapman.
Get him off. Have a look at him off the ground, not on the ground. You can't have him out there doing this.
These sides look like they're unsure of each other, unsure of themselves. They're not certain about what they're doing. They're not at their peak form, but they're battling and mistake-ridden right through it.
Second row of the grandstand again.
Chapman kicked 2 at this end in the first quarter. From 55 metres, he unloads. It gets there. What a kick by Chapman. He's got 3.
Well, he's fatigued because it landed a metre short of the fence. That's magnificent kick, isn't it? The ones he's done down there, all outside 50 when he actually kicked the ball. He is a prodigious kick, and that's just what Geelong needed.
You know, the best part about that, Joel Corey didn't concede. There was a short pass from Suckling, and he did not concede, didn't assume that it was going to go to someone. He actually came in and pinched the ball. All of a sudden it turns around into space, and there, yes, guess what? Chappie, right on the 50-metre line. But Joel Corey, sensational work, because you do never know what's going to happen in this game. People kick it off the side of their boot. They make mistakes. Keep alert at all times, and Joel was.
Cats to within 3 points now, 8-4 to 7-7.
8 goals for the season for Paul Chapman. Renouf up, Otten's the tap, Rioli fends off an opponent, can't take the footy with him. Sewell has the hand pass smothered, ricochets to Renouf, back to Sewell under the pump. Shields there, may have gone to the back of Ottens, who forced it out to Enright. Corey was right with him, Enright kicks inside 50. Hodge the spoil for the Hawks, Rioli couldn't take it with him. Players put their bodies on the line at half-back for Hawthorn on the outer side. Rioli caught one high, he'll take a free kick. He decides to go backwards and square it up to Suckling. He uses the footy better this time. Generally, he's used it well today. Guerra marks centre half-back.
Another one.
No, that's a horror.
Terrible
Straight to Varco. Varco's kick is smothered. Turnover for the Hawks. Mitchell on the members' wing. Franklin marks. Handballs quickly. Great offload to Bateman. 45 out. Set sail and go.
Well, two of the worst kicks you've ever seen. I think Guerra is now coming off the ground because I don't think he could take his weight on the pivot foot, and he gave it up, and then it was given back by Varco with equally as bad a kick where he was trying to do too much under too much pressure. Mitchell dropped the ball into Buddy, and Buddy's right-handed hand pass as quick as a flash got out to Bateman, and Bateman put it away. Not always safe on those ones, but Bateman ran straight in and did the job.
Well, Guerra might find himself subbed out. Whitey?
I don't know whether it's too serious, Drew. He's taken his boot off and his sock. It's being assessed now, that ankle.
Should have cost them. Should have cost them a goal, but it didn't. Reprieve and a goal on the end of the reprieve.
9-point lead to the Hawks. Bounce in the middle. Hawkins in the ruck. Wins it. Rode by Selwood. Hand pass wide to Bartel. From the wing, he's kicked towards half forward. Awkward bounce, not gathered down there. It comes back to Selwood. Hand pass into Hawkins, who shrugs a tackle. Kicks to full forward. There's no one there. Will it bounce on? It will. Hawkins, it's stopped right on the line by Hodge. He got back there to rush it through just in the field of play.
Wasn't much in that one at all. And Suckling, who's been given the job to kick back into play and generally has done it in a responsible manner, will do it again for Hawthorn. Plays onto his own advantage, bangs it long to the MCC member side. Sean Burgoyne, what a contested mark that was, opposed to Enright. Great clunker. Kicks in short to Savage, had his back to the play. Terrible
Good
kick.
mark, Tommy.
Chopped off by Hawkins, kicks into the middle looking for Kelly. Good contest with Sewell, knocks it to the back. It will sit for Young. He picks it up now. Varco's quick, Young's quick as well. On the non-preferred right, kicks to half forward. No one home though for Hawthorn. Milburn cuts off supply at half back for the Cats.
They read the ball well, the Geelong defence. They cut away really early. They understand where you're going to kick it and they get there.
Scarlett shares it with Milburn. Now Milburn kicks to a contest out on half-back flank and Stokes in front position. Sewell puts enough pressure on to win the ball for Young. Young gets the hand pass up to Shields. Shields a little pass and Lewis is there and marks about 48 metres out, or did he? It was thumped away by Milburn. Milburn got a fair bit of Lewis. No free kick for it and the ball out of play.
Exactly how you should play. Take the lot.
The uncompromising Mark McClure on grandstand. Hale to the back. Renouf was going there as a rover. Bateman emerges on the outer side with a hand pass to Hale. A hand pass to Shields. Now to Mitchell. On the left. Kicks inside 50. Franklin jumping up too early. Lonergan dropped the mark. Lewis a hand pass. Bateman right foot. Snap! Touch in the pocket of beauty! 2 goals to Bateman this quarter. Magnificent.
Well, we were debating whether I get their goals at ground level because Rioli's been up through the midfield, don't have the crumbing and speed pressure in the front half. Bateman, who's done precious little up until this stage, reasonable but not significant in terms of scoring. He's got two in a very short time. One from a straightforward run through the corridor, and this one a terrific over his right shoulder, I think, if we over his right shoulder and through. Difficult kick from that point.
Threaded the needle. Whitey.
Drew, Brent Guerra back on the field, so he's just had some running repairs to that ankle and he seems to be okay.
36 inside 50s to the Hawks, 31 to Geelong.
14-point lead to the Hawks at the 8-minute mark of the third quarter. Here's the bounce. Hawkins in the ruck, wins again. Just outside the circles. Gathered here by Suckling. A high ball for Hawthorn up towards the 50. Rioli there, and for once has a bit of a fumble. Comes in and regathers with a scoop off the deck and a clever little kick over the top, but just a little bit too high for Lewis. It's kept in by Kelly. Oh, no, it wasn't. The umpire was right there and said, just took the ball over the boundary line and we'll have a throw in. So it's in Hawthorn's forward 50. They're doing most of the attacking in this quarter. 2 goals, both to Bateman, against 1 goal for the Cats to Chapman. And it's 10-4 to 7 goals 8. 14-point lead to the Hawks.
Dangerous territory for the Cats again. Spills to the back to Milburn. Scarlett, quick give to Stokes. Now to Lonergan. Another offload by hand to Stokes. Backwards to Taylor. Little pass to Stokes. Has to get his bike. Gets it on the bounce. Turns Franklin inside out on the outer side. Lovely ball. Finds Scarlett who marks. Plays on immediately to Steve Johnson. Slipped over as he avoided a rough head tackle. Enright gives him support on the edge of the centre square. Kicks into the middle. Mark dropped by Duncan. Hawkins can't take it cleanly. Free kick to the Cats. Bit of a soft one, but Duncan got some treatment. Umpire felt it was illegal. Cutes a little kick to half forward. Corey, reasonably quiet today. Takes the mark. Plays on. Kicks towards Lings. Also had a quiet day. Hodge got a hand on it. Spills to the back to Menzel. Now to Bartel. Bartel on the left. Hooks long to full forward. Podsiadly a couple to beat. And a big fist by Roughhead. A running jump. And it's behind conceded. 7-9, 51 the Cats. Hawks 10-4, 64 on Grandstand AFL. We're 10 minutes into this crucial third term.
Roughhead was kicking goals in the first half, 2 of them, and saving one then. Kick in, Birchall out to Guerra, who's had a bit of treatment and has recovered. And Brent Guerra still in the back pocket. Told to play on. And good shepherding by Lewis to get Podsiadly, who was on the mark. Guerra's kicked long towards centre wing. Ball helped on at the back. Lonergan for the Cats. Shields bowled over in the back, surely. No whistle. It comes the Cats' way, and the hand pass swept forward in the direction of Corey. He kicks towards Ling. Great courage shown by Savage to get back there and run where he didn't know what was coming. He got hit and he got the free kick. Hand pass to Ladson. Ladson out into open space. Sewell takes the mark. 65 metres from goal. This is where you need Buddy in the forward 50. Where is he? Well, he's back behind an inboard and he's not part of the play. Back to Suckling, who can kick beautifully off the left. Bateman! What a quarter he's had. An overhead fly.
The unlikely match winner.
It's his 3rd chance at goal. He's kicked 2 for the quarter. He's been the difference. No one else has scored except for Chappie. Now it's gone to Smalls kicking goals. The short fellas are doing it. Bateman and Chapman, the only ones who've kicked goals this quarter, and he's about to kick his 3rd.
Well, he'd kicked 2 goals for the season prior to today. He's kicked 2 goals in this quarter. Can he make it 3? 40 metres out, wide out. No, it's left all the way. And through for a minor score. 2 goals, 1 for Chance Bateman. 10-5, 65 to the Cats. 7-9, 51.
And he spread of 14 points for the Hawks. As Andrew Mackie will inbound. And he'll dab in short to the outer side. Mark taken by Stokes. Unusual position for him. Down back. No Josh Hunt today, of course, for the Cats. Drop for this match. Stokes kicks to the half-back flank, using his body. Taylor couldn't mark it, whacked down by Otten. Steve Johnson had the hand pass pinched by Bruce. Defensive give to Sewell, now to Guerra, loads up inside 50. Nice fist Bateman, but at the front, rode by Wojcinski. Good hand pass to Joel Selwood. Geelong in possession with a hand pass to Kelly into the middle. Steve Johnson now has it. Looks to play on a scrubby kick as a shocker. Missed by Barco. 50 metres, is it?
Yep.
Someone ran over the mark.
Yeah, I think it was Birchall, wasn't it?
Well, it saved Stevie J because that was a shocker.
Yeah. He just got on with it too quickly, didn't he?
Yeah, Guerra.
It was Guerra, not to you're right. Absolutely.
Well, he's conceded a goal to Chapman and he might concede one to Johnson.
That's just...
It's a tight match. Could be costly. Johnson crossing the 50. 45 out and he hits the post. Brent Guerra would have been looking for a hole. He doesn't have to worry now. Lead 13 points.
Stevie J's kicked 3 behinds and 2 of them have hit the post. Hawks out of defence and Hale marks at half-back flank. 65 to 52 13 and a half minutes played in the third quarter. The ground now totally in shade, getting a bit cool, surface getting a bit dewy. Otten's in the middle of the pack, can't take the mark, comes through to the back, Shields a little kick down the line for the Hawks, bunted forward for the Cats, and the ball finishes up out of bounds right near the interchange gate near centre wing. Bateman sits down. He's had a superb third quarter. Well, he was about to. There's some indecision as to whether he is going to sit down.
Can find the footy. Shields, 15 possessions.
Here's the throw-in. Is your mic on or off, Dan?
It's on. 15 possessions today, averaging 22 for the season. Going to be a free kick. It'll go the way of the Cats, and it'll be taken by Wojcinski.
He's the only one who didn't think it was his free kick.
At halfback on the MCC members' side, he decides to switch play. And Mackie has it now. Slow, steady build-up by the Cats. Spears it to the outer side to Scarlett. Uses the footy well to Taylor. They come back after a sluggish start. Kicks towards Steve Johnson. Got out in front at left half forward and marks on that Great Southern stand side.
Better delivery by the Cats. Long, low, hard kick. Give the defence no chance whatsoever.
Steve Johnson. Poking kick in towards the pocket. No one can mark. Rode by Chapman, but he got tackled before he could get it. A hand pass came to Gillam. Goes without it. Podsiadly hassles him. It's socket by Duncan, making something out of nothing outside the goal square. Handy goal against the trend for Geelong. They cut the margin to 7 points. 8-10, 58. Hawks 10-5, 65.
Well, that's what you've got to do. Get it in there and fight. And all of a sudden the Cats are starting to push it forward. Pods puts up his arms in the air, forces it to the ground, make a fight of it. They're not getting anything clean the way they're going. And let's just make it happen. And all of a sudden Duncan gets his foot on it and pushes it straight through. Just a fluke. Fluke kick was like a tap on his left foot through the goals. But, hey, listen, numbers around the ball, put some bodies in line, run straight and hard. The result may come your way.
Approaching the 16-minute mark of the third quarter, and the Cats to within 7 points. Massive crowd at the MCG. Got to be in the 80s. They're sitting way up in the nosebleed seats. Ottens wins the tap in the middle, comes down to Joel Corey. Rode by Stokes now. Kick by Stokes to full forward. Pods! Good mark. Oh no, came to the front. Hawthorn have it. Out of defence by Hodge. Hodge kicks wide looking for Sewell. Doesn't sit for him. Mackie has it. The hand pass over the top to Steve Johnson. We were laughing earlier, but he's getting a fair bit of it now. He kicks inboard. It's knocked down here by Joel Corey and followed up by Corey, who goes long for goal and kicks one from outside 50. And the margin is a point.
Well, we're laughing about Johnson's effort earlier where he look away, kick along the ground that was going to score the incredible goal. And I thought, well, he's doing the same thing. He started to run at the goal from a 45-degree effort and screwed it back inside. Wasn't even looking where he kicked it and perfectly went to his teammate. And Corey, was it, that put it through? It was just a terrific kick. It hit almost the centre of the square. It was almost going over Corey's head. He controlled the ball and ran inside 50 and put it away at the very appropriate moment.
He never does anything easy, does he? It's got to be the hardest thing you can do.
He picked the only option that you and I thought wasn't on.
Wouldn't go.
Yeah, wouldn't go.
Down to Adam White in a minute. He's got some news on the substitution situation as Ottens goes in, taps it down and at ground level tries to lock it up for the Cats. Perfect opportunity here for you, Whitey. It'll be a secondary bounce.
Yeah, an injection of leg speed from Alistair Clarkson. Brent Renouf is out of the match. He's been substituted with Xavier Ellis coming in.
So Hale will do a fair bit of the ruck work with Ottens. Third man up, Corey. A nice little flick. Sean Burgoyne, great give while being hung onto by Chapman. Young and Mitchell, they had possessions chopped away by the Cats. Menzel overruns it under some great pressure. Did okay to keep his head. A hand pass to Enright on the members' wing. High ball, nice ball from behind by Suckling. At the drop, Chapman gathers. He kicks in short and he finds Bartel close to the boundary. Geelong 64, Hawthorn 65, 18 gone third quarter. Probing kick by Bartel towards half forward. Podsiadly attacks it hard. Missed by Duncan at the fall. Hand pass Podsiadly to Selwood. Off the edge of the boot, looking for Ottens. Ling has got one. I reckon Ling was going to get a free kick. but Ottens has been paid the mark in the left forward pocket at the City end, and Geelong should hit the front here.
What a kick that was.
Magic player, Joel Selwood.
Magic kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, he picked up the side. He saw them there. There was a little, like, threading the needle through two players of the Hawks, and there he was, the big fella. It's not hard to see. He's nearly 6'8" or something, with 200 odd centimetres, and he just went bang. It was perfect.
Brad Ottens to give the Cats the lead at the 19-minute mark of the third term. Yes, sirree. It didn't look likely a few minutes ago, but they've found their way again, the Cats. That's why they're a champion team. 10-10-70 on Grandstand AFL. 20 scoring shots to Hawthorn's 15. The Hawkers are 10-5-65.
What a game we've got.
Yeah,
4 goals to 2 this quarter.
And Ottens, that's what he's been known for, hasn't he? I mean, he's been able to go forward. Hasn't done as much. Hasn't done it like Jolly's been doing it with Collingwood. I think he scored 1 goal up until today. And to see him run strongly, leave Hale behind, you think Hale would be a quicker, more athletic player. Couldn't keep up with him. And the magnificent kick that you called, Sellers, from Selwood. Just a delightful kick. It had to travel 45 or 50 to a big bloke striding towards the goal. It didn't miss a beat. Great team effort.
Cats have kicked the last 3 goals to hit the front. Hawkins wins the hit out in the middle. Shark by Rioli. Off to Bruce. Here's a little hand pass to Ladson. Kick to centre half forward. Pushed out Young. Surely hands in the back. The mark stands to Enright. Enright. Short little pass up to Bartel. Back edge of the centre square.
Very important play, this bloke. Breaks up the play. Really good mark. Gets those little short chip kicks and clever with his feet.
Bartel barely the 15 metres. And the mark taken by Chapman. He squares the ball across to Lonergan. Hawks have all got back. Kicked by Lonergan towards the 50. Podsiadly in front. Good spoil from behind. Podsiadly after it to try and rope it. He's got it now. The hand pass is knocked down by Guerra. He slides in on all fours. Gets it to Mitchell. Mitchell's hand pass out in the open. Bateman's been the man this quarter for the Hawks. He gathers. Back edge of the centre square. Puts it out in front of Rioli, who's got Akers in front of him. He runs onto the bouncing ball and gives Scarlett the bye-bye. And Rioli's kick's disappointing. Looking for Roughhead. Chopped off by Harry Taylor.
Never looked like getting too Roughhead. Down to Scarlett, who stabs his kick along the turf. Barco lends him support. Chapman. Handball's on the up to Stokes. Barco spinning by through the middle. Great footy. Good mark taken by Podsiadly, sliding forward. He kicks now inside 50. I reckon Ling was held trying to mark. The umpire let it go. Knocked to the front. Barco! Great goal! Hit the ball running. Full tilt. And he's kicked a ripper from outside the goal square. 4 on the trot to Geelong. Their lead all of a sudden 11 points.
Well, the kick going in by Hawthorn, I think it was Rioli to Roughhead, missed by 4 or 5 metres to the wrong defensive side. Not only left Roughhead unable to attack the ball, but it left him in no position to put pressure on. Goal to goal really was coast to coast, as we say in the basketball terms. Away it went, and Hawthorn didn't see it again until Barco bounced it off the fence behind the goals.
You know what happened though? The Cats pushed him wide onto his right foot. And he didn't actually try and commit himself too much so he gets to dodge, because he's a very good dodger and weaver and all that sort of stuff, and they pushed him out wide, which gives you a chance to mess up the kick. Sometimes little things count.
Yep, they do.
He didn't break stride then, Barco, when he attacked that footy. It was magnificent.
11 points the lead now for the Cats. Roughhead in the ruck. Comes to Sewell. Gets the hand pass away to Ellis under pressure. He's coughed it up to Bartel. Kicks towards full forward. Hawthorn under pressure on the back line. Oh, Gillam, you're under heaps of trouble. And Bartel snaps for goal. It bounces in the goal square and goes through. 5 in a row for the Cats.
Well, when Jimmy Bartel gets in the game, look out whoever you are. Doesn't matter what side you're against, and all of a sudden the lead's changed dramatically. An enormous change in the game, and Jimmy Bartel and a few of the others, Varco started to lift. We've talked about it at half-time. Who's got a lift in this game? And we've seen it come from the Cats. They started off slow, but they've stormed home with the last 5 goals. Just fantastic stuff.
Magnificent effort by Geelong. And they are on top now. Hawthorn with tons of work to do. Tons of work to do. 82 plays 65. Momentum right against them. Bounce in the middle. Otten to the tap. Hand pass from Corey. Lost it. taken by Roughhead, a high up and under inside 50. Franklin's right out of this contest at the moment. Taken at ground level by Mackie the Cats. Not a great hand pass, but Milburn puts the body on the line. Intercepted by Chapman, overwhelmed by a lack of numbers down there. I should say Bateman of Hawthorn, and then Scarlett's taken over the boundary and a tackle at half-back on the Great Southern stand side.
He's not getting the delivery, and he's also Lonergan's done a sensational job on him. Cut him right out.
Up to Taylor, was cut to pieces early. Tap down, rode by Sewell, shakes the tackle, goes backwards. Handballs to the substitute Alice, inside 50 to Franklin on the bounce. He couldn't control it. Should have really hit Franklin on the full then, Alice. Cats a chance through Kelly at half-back. Tackled the ground like a rag doll, as was Ladson for the Hawks. Errant foot by Mackie. Slips out to Bateman again. Hard on the boundary. Great tackle. And Kelly pinned him. Full jars free. And it'll be tossed back into play. 55 around from the Hawks goal. They're 10-5, 65. The Cats at 12-10, 82.
Here's the throw in on the 50. Hawthorn's forward 50. Palmed down by Roughhead. Taken by Sewell, who has a fly hack for goal and clears Scarlett on the line.
No.
A goal. Ooh.
No.
Scarlett did get
post.
a fingertip to it. Oh, it's into the padding, was it?
Yep.
Nearly a goal for Sewell. That's his first score for the day. He was looking for his first goal of the season. It's 66-82. The Cats by 16.
In right, in short, the Scarlett feeds a hand pass over the top to Steve Johnson. On the left, kicks towards Duncan. Trying to get up and spoil was Gibson. Did okay. It's out of bounds in front of the Geelong dugout. Cats have been down to 21 men since quarter time with that knee injury to Taylor Hunt. Coping pretty well at the moment. Their lead, 16 points. Working his way to the front, Roughhead. Taps it down cleverly to Savage. Now to Mitchell. Mitchell to Lewis on the bounce.
Oh.
And on the left, he blazes away on the northern side. Franklin there. Luckily, it just lands in. He floats it out of bounds with a fist along with Lonergan. Nearly beside the behind post at the punt road end.
That kick's easy to defend, David. That's a silly kick by Geordie Lewis to that spot.
Throw in forward pocket for the Hawks. Comes to the back to Mitchell. Shrugs a tackle. Gets it on the left boot, but hasn't found a forward. And it's straight back out of bounds for another throw in.
They're losing at all aspects at the moment. They're not winning sufficient of the ball, and they're under pressure from Geelong. Geelong have been superb all over there. It's a great team effort at the moment.
26-minute mark, third quarter. Ottens tries to take clean possession. Getting himself free as Hale. Can't get boot to ball, though. Close to goal. Lewis. Franklin gets a touch. He hasn't seen much of it since quarter time, Buddy. A real scrap up right in front of goal, and the umpire will bounce 30 metres out.
Now they're looking for free kicks. Now they're playing for all those things. You play not to the whistle. You play absolutely non-stop and keep playing. Don't worry about the free kicks. Get the ball. They're looking for easy ones.
Throw a blanket over 24 players here. It's going to be a free kick to the Cats. Ottens.
He's done well, the big fellow. He spreads it wide to a running Stokes, who were mentioned in a new role today down back, and he's been good too, just blending in this defence. Scarlett in short to Mackie. Back to Scarlett. They'd love to give him a victory in his 250. It feeds a long ball by hand to Milburn on the outer side to Steve Johnson. Back to Scarlett, who cruises around the southern wing. Takes on Lewis. Shrugs the tackle. Too strong for him. Back to Steve Johnson. Kicks through the middle to Joel Selwood. He turns out of a tackle. Handballs to Varco. Varco right foot. Snap. Magnificent goal, Geelong. The highlight of the day. Coast to coast football, Geelong. Close to three-quarter time, looking too good for the Hawks at the Mo's. 7 goals in this term for Geelong, 13-10-88. Hawks at 10-6, 66.
Well, their usage, hand and foot, the decision-making they made, but the physicality they applied for each contest, it was just terrific to see. And Hawthorn, as much as they were tuned to do something about it, individually and collectively could do nothing, and they carried the ball for a Barco goal as easy as it was, almost as if the Hawthorn players stood back and clapped. Yeah, it happened in
Matty
their front. They're getting killed. Matty Scarlett started, but there is no chase down and pressure coming out of Hawthorn's forward line, and they're doing as they wish at the moment.
Ottens wins another hit out in the middle. Johnson has a bit of a fumble. Comes back to Hale. He loses it. Kicked out there by Selwood. Ellis in defence for the Hawks. From half-back, kicks out towards centre wing. Bruce, give it your best shot, son. And Stokes comes across his bows and knocks the ball over the boundary line.
I don't think they found the right spot for Bruce. They're trying to play him in the midfield.
88 plays 66. The Cats well in charge. What a third quarter it's been. Steve Johnson gets another kick. He's had a great third quarter. Taken there by Ladson. Back he goes to Ellis. And the short pass out wide marked by Shields.
Hawthorn,
nowhere to go.
Manufactured a couple of goals through Bateman. And they were 14 points up, approaching the halfway mark of the term. Since then, they've been blown away by this strong Geelong side. Kicks to Sean Burgoyne's had a quiet day. 3 to beat. At the full end right, tried to grab it. Sean Burgoyne grabbed him, and the ball spills out of bounds. 70 around from the Hawks' goal.
What a unit they are, that defence.
Oh,
Milburn,
yeah.
Mackie, Scarlett, Enright, throw them all in there. Just Taylor, fantastic.
Ottens gets rid of his opponent in the ruck. That's big David Hale. He's given away a free kick at left half forward. Floats the hand pass to Savage. Has to cut inside. Ottens steadies 48 out. They need a goal, the Hawks. And the youngster in his 8th game delivers to keep them alive at the G. 11-6-72 Hawthorn. Geelong 13-10-88 on Grandstand AFL. 30 minutes gone. Third term.
He's the one shining light, isn't he? David Hale coughed up a little hand pass to him, put him under pressure, just wanted to get rid of it, Tail, and and he came and made the ground. He's quick underground on the right, and he pumped what was an incredibly good goal in the circumstances with people Geelong fence all around him, but was able to front up and deliver. Great effort.
Terrific goal by Shane Savage. And the Hawks 11-6-72. The Cats 13-10-88. Margin 16 in favour of the Cats. Close to three-quarter time. We've hit the 30-minute mark. Bounce in the middle. Rough head in ruck. Beaten by Ottens. Comes to Corey, who stumbles to ground. Hand pass back to Ottens. And Mitchell gets him. Might have been a push in the back. Play on as the ball's jarred free. Finishes up with Bartell. Kicks out wide over centre wing. Getting there is Birchall for the Hawks. Running out of room near the boundary line. Well, he does pretty well. Gets around Duncan. And kicks up the ground where it's marked by Ladson. Gets the hand pass in with time running out. And dispossessed as Shields by Chapman. Cats in numbers. Bartell. Kick towards half forward. Hawkins does well to flip the ball in for Steve Johnson. Doesn't quite reach him. Suckling over the ball. Comes to Mitchell. Hand pass to Birchall. To Lewis, who was under pressure from Chapman, but the tackle was high, just behind the circles, and the free kick to Lewis.
Ladson
just off the boil a bit, aren't they?
Oh, terrible.
88 plays 72, the Cats.
Mitchell receives the half distancer right beside the centre circles. And the mark taken by Young, plays on inside 50, over the head of Hale. Franklin lurking. Lonergan's been so good since quarter time attacks, and Hale got him. I reckon he got him very high around the face, Hale, as he skidded in dangerously with his boots. Free kick in the back pocket to Tom Lonergan.
Been fantastic.
He has.
Biggest job in the world on Buddy Franklin after he's on fire early and kept him absolutely goalless since. Terrific job.
The knee got him in the head. And any game of football this bloke plays is an act of courage after what he's been through.
Lonergan kicks to the wing on the outer side. Ellis, the big fist, through the legs of Rial. He needs to do more. Young had a bit of it in the last couple of minutes. Defensive hand pass to Lewis, streaming by. Handballs to Guerra, wants to play on. 40 out. Hawks are still alive. Numerous left footers, and they got the job done. 12-6-78 Hawthorn, 2 goals in a couple of minutes. The Cats are 13-10-88. Another grandstand finish coming up on Grandstand in the final quarter. We've played nearly 33 minutes of this long third term.
Well, if you think you've got the Hawks, think again. They just keep coming. They just keep trying. They just keep pushing forward. And what they've done is they've been stung. They've got 5 or 6 kicked against them in a row, and all of a sudden they've had to fight. And they've actually kept the ball in their half more than they have in the first half of that quarter in the last 5 minutes. Just been sensational. And all of a sudden the rewards start to come.
Cats have kicked 7-3 to 4-3 in this third quarter. They trailed by 8 points at half-time, and they now lead by 10. Ling roves in the middle. He's had a very quiet day. Gets boot to ball. Kick inside the 50. Taken by Ellis. Hand pass to Suckling. Is there time left for another Hawks goal? Comes to Savage, who runs away from halfback with a bounce. Pokes the pass up. Lewis in front. Hands up. Can't mark. Siren beats them when they're in attack, in possession. And that is three-quarter time. Geelong 13-10-88. Did you enjoy that? Hawthorn 12-6-78. Not everybody happy with the umpires by the sounds of it. A 10-point lead to the Cats at three-quarter time. Their goal kickers. Chapman has 3, 2 for Varco, both kicked in that third quarter. And in a spread of goal kickers, the rest have come in singles to Bartell, Ottens, Corey, Selwood, Duncan, Hawkins, Podsiadly and Ling. And for Hawthorn, a few blokes have kicked 2. Roughhead 2, Bateman 2, Hale 2, Franklin 2, and singles for Young and Guerra and Savage. At three-quarter time, Geelong 13-10-88 to Hawthorn 12-6-78.
Just when you thought...
Chris Scott was fired up there at that last break, really urging his troops for half an hour more. It was terrific to watch Chris Scott in action.
Bounce in the middle. Ottens gets it down to Ling, who's on the ball now. Kicked by Ling from a standing start out towards half-forward flank. Varco paddles the ball forward to Stevie J. Turns a U-turn, gets the hand pass to Varco, into Kelly from 50 metres. Long kick, Hawkins near the goal square, and it just comes up to the right-hand side, off hands, and through for a minor score. Took 20 seconds for the Cats to get the first score of the last quarter. Are behind 13-11 to 12-6.
7 possessions for Ling, averaging nearly 27 a game so far this season. Kicks towards the outer side. Bruce couldn't mark it. Ling. Hand pass no good, intercepted by Sewell. Held up on a tackle, but a great hand pass to Sean Burgoyne. Charging around the outer wing, kicks Hawthorn to Roughhead with Taylor. Taylor got a spoil on it, he's been good since quarter time. Roughhead it falls to him, can't take it cleanly. Lays a tackle on Enright. Kelly can't click, congestion for Geelong. Goes back in again to try and get it. Comes out to Franklin. Half token by Buddy. Couldn't quite put his body on the line and get in. Sean Burgoyne dives on in to lock it up for the Hawks. 40 out from the goal that they're attacking at the city end.
It was fantastic effort by the Geelong defence then. Taylor was just able to hold Roughhead out, prevent a clean mark.
89-78. Geelong by 11 points. Taylor the palm. Slips to Joel Selwood. Off the side of the boot while being claimed. Taken by Ottens. Plays on quickly. Kicks into bodies. Varco there. Slips to Sewell. A hand pass to Mitchell of Hawthorn on the outer side. Hooks a kick inside 50. Roughhead nearly stole that from Taylor. Couldn't take it with him. Carried forward in the tackle. The umpire agrees and said it's Roughhead's free kick in the left forward pocket. A slight angle at the city end.
Please.
There's nothing in it.
He fell over and pulled the bloke down with him.
He actually ran into someone in front of him and held him up. That was Enright, held him up. That wasn't in the back.
If you lose the game on that, there'd be a lot of questioning over the week, I can tell you.
But he had the ball. He was in front.
Oh, yeah. Well,
give yourself a chance.
They'll justify it. I'll run into Rowan Sawyers and he'll get that one right.
You used to coach him.
Roughhead leans back and goal. Geelong had a bit of a run. And Hawthorn have kicked the last 2 before three-quarter time. The first of the last quarter, it's taken 2 minutes. They've closed to within 5 points, 13-6-84. And the Cats are 13-11-89.
That's half the chance. Get in your forward line. Start a fight.
Slug it out.
That's it. Just keep putting your body in front. They kept it in there for the last 45 or 50 seconds with a ball up after a ball up, and then all of a sudden won a free kick because they had their body in line, in front, over the ball. Maybe not have been a free kick in half the people's eyes here, but it was a free kick in the bloke in red, and that's all you've got to worry about. And then you've got to slot it through. Have the guts and the gumption to do that as well.
Yep, read it on, I've got to say Monday, but it's not read on Wednesday's paper. It'll read 1 goal.
3 goals today for Roughhead, 11 for the season.
Margin 5 points in favour of the Cats. Hale wins in the middle. Rowed by Sewell. Here come the Hawks again. Long ball in the direction of Roughhead. No mark. Comes to the back to Scarlett. He does a U-turn and kicks across the face of goal. Doesn't hit a target, but Milburn good enough. Hand pass to Corey.
Gutsy kick.
Corey clears the defensive 50. Off to Ling. Kick by Ling towards the centre square. Johnson in front. Good ball put on him by Birchall. Now at ground level, Birchall wins it. Finishes with Ladson. Any amount of Hawks up here at half forward. Unmarked is Bruce. Hand pass to Sewell. Sewell's kick, very high ball inside the 50. That'll be a mark and or a free kick. And Scarlett's been put down by Buddy Franklin. Lewis was camped underneath that for a week. The ball came in floating and high, and he stood his ground with tremendous courage, and Scarlett hit him with everything.
Well, Sewell's
there'll be a report there.
Sewell's walking down to apologise to his mate. How would you like to be on that? You'll have to run down and get him, pull him down. And you stand underneath this one.
It's a nightmare.
An absolute shocker.
But he's gutsy enough to do so. He's up and going now. He looks like he's okay.
He'll go up for the blood.
He's got a whack in the face.
Lost his left ear.
Yeah, he's been
had a tough hit last year. What about the hit he had last year? That was a shocker. Yeah. This is nowhere near as bad. He's fine.
He's a long way from the bench. Is he coming off, Whitey?
It's coming off on the blood rule. And, I mean, the question is here, guys, although he doesn't look as bad as I initially thought about from a concussion rule point of view, because Hawthorn has activated its sub. But as we see him sort of trotting off now, I think he's okay. But certainly the blood rule is the issue at the moment.
No, he's running strongly, Whitey. He's fine. Good as gold.
And the slow-mo, well, Scarlett got a fraction of ball, a fair bit of arm, and a lot of head.
No, I was just saying he's running at his normal speed.
He's got form too,
Scarlett. Don't be like that.
Gee, that was courage to stand under that ball. It was a real hospital ball.
Yeah. He knew what was coming, Drew, didn't he? He had a good look round to see which arm he was coming.
And you knew Scarlett would go through with it. That's the worst part. Some would pull up.
So Roughhead, who's kicked 3 goals for the day, will take the kick from about 49 metres out. Across the face of goal and through for a minor score. It's 4 points the margin. Geelong 13-11 to Hawthorn 13-7, and we've played 5.5 minutes of the last quarter.
He's the one you wouldn't want to get it.
Nothing to answer for on that one, Charles?
I think he's in a bit of trouble.
There's a few they'll be looking at, no doubt. Match review panel as Mackie kicks to the outside. Taylor up, couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Sean Burgoyne at the drop, crumbs it, holds onto it, won't be penalised.
And Scarlett's done time already this year, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
He may do some more.
A little bit last year as well. Half forward for the Hawks. Third man up, Hodge. Duncan there, kicked a great goal in the third quarter, taken to ground in a pretty good tackle. The umpire says, though, he is under pressure and he couldn't get rid of it. There'll be a ball up.
We've seen some swings in this game, haven't we?
We have.
Have we? What? Start? 2 sides the other way, one way, the other way. It's been fantastic.
Nice tap by Hale. Lemaine Ruckman now with Reynolds being substituted off. His teammate went after the footy and got buried. Luke Hodge to take it, attacking side of the wing.
Goes for the short pass and the mark taken by Hale. The former Kangaroo, David Hale. 60 metres out from goal. He comes back, gives it to Savage. He won't make the distance either. Puts it out in front of goal. Plenty of hoops there. And a pretty easy mark taken by Milburn. Hand pass away to Mackie. His kick short of centre wing. Goes past Podsy Adley. With him is Gibson. Pods has got him. Takes him to ground. The ball spills free. Soccer forward by Menzel. Opens it right up for the Cats. Menzel gives chase on Score Gift Day. Doesn't quite get there. Ellis first there. The hand pass away to Birchall. That was a hospital hand pass, and Birchall bundled over the boundary line, and we get a throw in.
This is the time when you've got to put your head over the ball. You've got to keep it straight. You get in front. That was a great chase and tackle.
What did Dallas just threw it away?
He jumped in the air. He doesn't like any contact.
Toss back into play. Charging at it was Mitchell, won by Chapman. Handballs to Ling. A skipper goal is needed. Just misses to the right-hand side. He could have kept going. He was about 30 metres out. I reckon he had a few more metres to go. Didn't steady enough. The Cats by 5. 13-12-90. Hawthorn 13-7-85. 8 travelled last quarter on Grandstand AFL.
Ling, 1 goal, 3. Steve Johnson, no goals, 3. The kick in to a pack over half back. Juggled. Hawkins can't complete it. Out the back door, the hand pass to Bartell. Ridden into the ground by Ladson. The umpire says, no prior opportunity. Give it to me and I'll ball it up.
I can't see Ling. There's probably a good discussion point after the game, Mark, about Ling and his role.
Struggling,
yeah. Whether he's gone to the midfield with
Hodgie. Yeah, all the way he's gone with Hodgie.
Soccer forward here by Varco, giving it a lot, and it goes out of bounds in the forward pocket. So it's his nickname, Struggling.
Absolutely, and Hodgie is too. He hasn't done a lot either. Hodgie's been very quiet.
That's very good.
Yeah, he sits here and thinks about him all day.
He had a horse named that, that's right.
10 possessions, Hodge. Bartell the big fist, but in the road. Young on the non-preferred right. Bangs it towards the wing. Burgoyne and Mackie pushing and shoving at the full row by Wojcinski. Front head centre square with his hand pass to Stokes. Stand start kick inside 50. Big pack. Gillam does well to get a decent punch on it at the front. Birchall's hand pass was terrible. Luckily, Ellis socketed away from congestion. Savage has pace. runs away from Chapman on the members' wing, hooks a kick inside cleverly. Two young players combining. Shields marks. Handballs now to Guerra. Guerra on the left, good kick. Sean Burgoyne probably should have marked that, didn't. Has to tap the ball away to the middle of the ground. Sharked by Hodge. Good kick on the right foot. Lonigan and Franklin. Franklin's had his colours lowered since quarter time, but lays a good tackle on Tommy Lonigan. It's out of bounds, 35 from the goal the Cats are defending at the City end.
Often an athlete versus the footballer. Lonigan read that 2.5 seconds before Buddy realised it was coming.
Well, Franklin, 11 possessions. I reckon he had about 7 in the first quarter.
Right.
So I've seen it since. It's a real scrap. Close to the ground. Oh, Bruce had the ball in
Someone's
front.
Down.
About 20 metres from goal. It was a funny old kick. Scrubbed along the ground, out of bounds in the forward pocket. 90 plays 85. Cats lead by 5 points. Boundary throw in. Hale wins down to Mitchell. He's claimed in a stand-up tackle. And the umpire will bounce. Umpire Vozzo, Armstrong and Pennell today. Can't wait to see the crowd posted. It won't be a million short of yesterday.
No, fantastic. And they've seen a great match right in the balance. Geelong by 5 points. Hawthorn coming at them at the moment. Bateman the tap. Taylor to Scarlett. Hurried boots the ball. And they've got players there for backup. Wojcinski. Watch out, buddy. He's got it. No, Wojcinski wriggles out of the tackle. Not the second one. I reckon it was holding the ball. Franklin a hand pass to Savage. Hand pass to Shields. To Roughhead. It was a smother. It ricochets to Wojcinski. By hand to Lonigan. By hand to Ling. Had a bit of it this quarter. The skipper kicks them to Chapman. Then Chapman stands up and takes a great mark on the members' wing. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. He kicks wide now to Stokes. Geelong 90, Hawthorn 85. Bravery everywhere here at the MCG. 11 gone, final quarter.
They just do it better when they're in charge of the ball, Geelong, don't they? Their decision-making and usage is significantly better than Hawthorn's.
Stokes to a pack at half forward. Oh, getting back, Roughhead. Good overhead mark. Hand pass to Young under pressure. He's run down. There's a high tackle. And it's going to be a Geelong 3 on the 50.
Missed the first one to Hawthorn and got the second one to Geelong.
He's a freak at getting him around the neck. I don't know how he gets his neck that low.
Joel Selwood, he just gets them all the time, doesn't he? Hand pass to Bartel. 55-metre kick right to the line and double-fisted through by Sewell for a rush behind.
A bit of a wasted kick. Bartel's better than that. He just torped it and hoped it landed in the square. No second play on the ball.
One straight kick the difference. 91 to 85. Cats lead approaching the 12-minute mark of the last quarter.
Adam, we're getting a look at reality and in-house monitor here. He looks like he's out for the day. Is that right?
Oh.
Anyway, the kick back into play. Mitchell dropped the mark. Shark at goal by Steve Johnson, who had players around him he could have given a hand pass to in a better position. Wanted to do it himself, and he hooks across the body for a behind.
4 behinds for Stevie J.
And the margin 7 points. It could be a crucial one, though.
Oh, massive kick in. Clears the defence and the mark taken by Young of the Hawks. Up to centre wing. Lewis at ground level. Terrific gather. Back to Young, who kept going. That's about a 100-metre play. Long kick. Franklin has a chance. He works Lonigan underneath the ball. It's a scrap for it at the 50. Forward for the Hawks. But cleared out of defence by Corey. Towards the boundary line at centre wing. Gathered by Gibson. Gibson pokes in a little short one to Sewell, who takes the mark. In between wing and half forward. Didn't see the tackler coming from behind. Just slings out the hand pass back to Gibson. High left footer. Down towards the pocket. Oh, terrifically. Harry Taylor, what a mark.
The opposite side when he took the mark in the grand final 2 years ago. Offloads it to Chapman. Foot pass to Duncan at centre half back. Threads it out wide to Bartel, who just knocks up getting it. You don't realise how many possessions he gets. He's outstanding. Now to Winwright on the wing. Forward give to Selwood. They're running the veterans in short to Scarlett. Had it wrenched away late by Ellis. Slips to Duncan. Goes wide to Scarlett. Can he get a go on his 250? It gets the bounce now. Swings around the body. Doesn't quite find the target he's looking for. Roughhead on hands and knees. Forces it out. Podsiadly attacks it hard. Wrapped up in a tackle. Slips to Lewis. He's held up at half-back. Quick give to Shields. Hand pass to Mitchell. Through traffic. Kicks around the body to Bruce. Bruce with a hand pass wide. It's Geelong by 7 points. To Roughhead on the southern side. Into the middle. And Savage takes the mark
Bateman
for the Hawks.
On his own.
Here's Chance Bateman leading at the 50. Takes the mark. He's nearly closed down from behind. He took a step to play on. Lucky to get away with it. Now he goes back behind the man on the mark. Kicked by Bateman to Franklin. But he's got it. Hardly sighted for 3 quarters.
Yeah, well, you've just got to go back a bit. Bateman refused to chase out. He's having a rest in the 50. His mates work their butts off back here, get a turnover, and he's sitting back having a smoke, waiting for the ball to come. You get rewarded for it. I guess we say that's smart football, is it?
I think so. It's smart if you get it. It's not if you don't. You don't agree, David?
Well, I'm a great Bateman fan, but he was just so tired he couldn't chase out.
Franklin from the pocket. 35 metres for goal to get the Hawks within a point. He has kicked it.
I just watched the crowd behind him. As soon as he knew he had left the boot, he was running towards the centre with his hand in the air. I don't know, he was the only bloke in the ground who thought it was going through.
He can't kick it from in front, and he blows them out from the outside of the ground.
How good is that, Mark?
Brilliant.
How good is that?
He's kicked 3 goals, 1. And the Hawks within 1 point at the 15-minute mark.
And he's exerted himself in this quarter a bit. You've seen him chase and tackle and throw his body, and sometimes he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, but when he gets it, look out. He's some sort of star. What a game we've got. 1 point in it.
Adam White.
The big news down here, Cyril Rioli, he is out for the rest of the game. He's got the tracksuit top on and ice to the right hamstring, it would appear. So cutting a fairly dejected figure on the bench is Cyril Rioli.
Short and long term.
So Hawks down to 20 men, and Hale wins it down. Ellis lays the tackle as Chapman receives from Selwood. Kick to half forward, Virtual on the scoop, couldn't take it. Bartel a hand pass to Menzel. Great give to Kelly. Kelly for 35, what a goal! Brilliant goal, Geelong. They respond straight away. Margin 7 points again. Bartel, Kelly, unbelievable handballs.
The Menzel flick over the top as well. I mean, under pressure, they were all under severe tackling time and space, and got it into the pathway of a bloke running in the right direction each time. Super effort. I mean, at a time when it was most required.
And it's not pretty. It's just quick. Just get it in there.
Quick.
Roly-poly, doesn't matter what happens. Just get in there as quick as you can. This has turned into a little shootout, which we love. We don't want to see anyone grind. We want to see them blow it away. And no one can stand still and hold the game up.
Not too many sideways kicks and backward kicks today so far. We might see them at the finish when somebody gets in front, but it's been a very positive offensive game for the most part.
98-91, Geelong in front. 2 goals to 1, though, favouring the Hawks this quarter.
Hale works hard in the bullseye, can't clear it. Selwood tries to just get his way clear. He does, to Kelly, who kicks a long ball to full forward. Podsiadly there, punched by Gibson, comes to Podsiadly. It's on the edge of the goal square. It's not coming out, and the umpire is going to ball it up.
Just everybody should have a look at that bit of play. That bounce then, and Selwood's effort to get the ball forward, unbelievable.
Crowd posted at 78,579. Not quite the 80,000. Close to goal for the Cats. Comes to Hale. Hand pass back. Eventually, Burgoyne clears the 50. Otten's second attempt. Good mark. 65 from goal. Short pass into Mackie.
Oh, you can't do that.
Mark before the pressure comes. Shields bowled him over before the mark. Mackie kicks out wide. Scarlett up from full back. Gets a hoop because they saw what he did earlier on. Beautiful pass. And on the lead is Menzel to take the mark.
That's incredible.
Sorry, it's Duncan.
Duncan, wasn't it? It was Scarlett who just popped it off the outside of his boot. Hodges, his opponent, he didn't get anywhere near it. Couldn't even make a contest. The kick was kicked so perfectly in front of young Menzel. No, is it? It's not Menzel.
Mitch Duncan.
It's Duncan.
Duncan, yeah.
Not far off centre. 45 metres from goal. Cats lead by 7 points. It sails through. Beautiful kick. Duncan gets his second goal of the second half. Can't rest on that. 15-14, 104. Hawthorn 14-7, 91.
Can't rest yet. Don't worry about that. Both sides are charging at it. But Otten's marked the ball. Tall blokes don't get any shorter at the end of the game. Good mark outside of 50. Then he had a good look around, and guess who snuck down there? Matty Scull, one of the smartest players in the caper, sets up beautifully around the ground, and his use of the ball was superb. Just a little floaty pass that the player run onto. You cannot, I don't care, Carl Lewis wouldn't stop you there. He couldn't punch from behind and make that up. Those 2 metres that he left behind Hodgie, he got left. An easy mark and a very easy goal. But well set up by Ottens. Terrific mark.
Plenty of time though for the Hawks. They need 3 goals to hit the front. Rough hit. Chimes in, but it falls to Stokes for the Cats. High ball towards half forward. Bartel had it whacked away. Sharked by Mitchell. Kicks quickly to half forward. Bad bounce Sewell. In the way, Milburn pretty solid again today. Kicks Geelong to the outer wing. Birchall 1-on-2. Doesn't get a good bounce. Falls to Menzel. Spins out of a tackle. Lane one. Put on him by Savage. Kelly on the ground with a hand pass to Corey. Corey on the outer side. Kicks to Potty-Adley. Leaning forward. Can't hang on to the mark. Benny's tackled. And there's going to be a free kick, is there? Got one high, Pods. At right half forward. 45 from goal.
Hodgie. Too aggressive. Straight in with his hands and elbows straight over the head.
Too aggressive, Hodge.
Yeah, well, that's what he is.
Since he was about a 15-year-old.
You know what? The umpires don't like it. I like it.
Yeah. Game certainly changed.
It wasn't all that aggressive, really.
No,
when they were looking at the replay, the umpire think I was a bit rough.
Yeah, but that's
tough.
the rules.
Yeah.
One of 11 goal kickers today for the Cats. This to make it tough for the Hawks, you think. Emphasising, you think. Potty-Adley. It's a good effort by Potty-Adley, but just fades away to the left-hand side at the end, and the margin is 14 points. It's 30 scoring shots to 21. Geelong 15-15, 105. Hawks 14-7, 91.
Kick in is short to Guerra. Here's kick close to the boundary line, but Young marks at right half back. There is time left. 22 and a half played in the last quarter. Kick by Young to Roughhead. It just cleared Hawkins. Roughhead's kick not the best. On the half volley to Burgoyne. Good gather. Hand pass to Bruce forward to the wing. He kicks to one out. Franklin at full forward. But he's beaten by Lonergan again. Good mark.
Sensational, bloke.
Tom Lonergan. After the way Franklin started, he could have been anything today.
But he was moved on to him, wasn't he? He was up and going. Lonergan has stopped him.
Stokes marks Lonergan's kick and then kicks along the boundary line, and the mark taken by Varco. He kicks over centre wing looking for Chapman. Oh, what a mark!
That's all, is he? 5'10". Just keeps marking the ball.
Sammy Mitchell was his opponent, but overhead Chapman plucked it. Short pass to Kelly. They're hugging the boundary line. And they've used up a bit of time here with a few possessions in a row. 105 plays 91. The margin 14 points. In the last 4 games against the Hawks, they've won by 2, 9, 1 and 8. Are we going to get another single-figure result here? There's time left for it. Burgoyne bursts out of defence for the Hawks.
And Mitchell receives, gets the hand pass out to Young, who slipped over. Kelly's got him, but got him high. Luck's the fortune for the Hawks. He was away. Clinton Young, as he was trying to burst his way and work his way through traffic, was nearly there.
They can't kick it long because it keeps coming back out, so they're trying to short it and make it run through the middle of the ground.
Short into the circles to Lewis. Looping hand pass Sewell to Ellis on the half volley. Hand pass Hale. Hand pass Birchall. Bateman the finisher, steadying from 20. Hawks are still there. He got on the end of it again, David Chance Bateman. Well, Hawthorn 15-7, 97. Geelong 15-15, 105. Hope you're enjoying this on Grandstand AFL.
Mark's call was right, though. They got smart and didn't just bomb. Each time they bombed it down, the defence has been good enough to read it. They just lowered their eyes and kept down. We held our breath a bit because some of them didn't come off the boot all that well. They wobbled around everywhere, but eventually they got it forward. And who's out the back again? He's flying. Bateman at the moment. He's found some ground like nobody else on the ground can find some ground and put it away. Number 3.
He can get forward to the play.
Well, he kicked 2 goals in 4 games prior to this, but he's kicked 3 goals, 1 today. Margin 8 points. Roughhead in ruck. Goes nowhere. Comes to Johnson of Geelong. Kicks towards half forward. Suckling with Varco. Varco gathers. Gets the hand pass to Duncan, who shows some pace and runs away, and then he did take them on. That was a terrific effort by Suckling.
Suckling, was it? Yeah.
Terrific effort. He was burned off for speed early, and then he closed the gap on him.
Both young kids. That's what you want to see. Take them on, and then he got caught. Bad luck.
Lovely central ball to Sewell at centre half-back, switching wide to the MCC member side to Bruce at half-back. Got hang time. Clinton Young's been prominent, hasn't he, on this member's wing? He takes it in short. The kick was an absolute horror. In the way, Varco could be defining moment. Scarlett receives a hand pass. Hits Menzel on the chest. He'll slow it down at half forward. He'll kick quickly to an open goal. Duncan's there. Sockets it. Goal. Too easy there for the Cats. Geelong by 14 points. They are here to have all the answers. 24 travelled, Final quarter, 16-15, 111. Hawthorn 15-7, 97. And the West Australia, Mitch Duncan, has 3 goals and 6 for the season.
Keep your head up, Clinton Young. It doesn't matter you made it blue. Doesn't matter you have to show the world and let everyone else down as well another time. But you know what? Bad kick. That'll kill you every time. And if you're going to play that little short chippy game where you've got to use the middle of the ground and run with players with 4 or 5 around the ball, you get into trouble sometimes. You make a mistake. We always say kick long. If you're going to make a mistake, make it a long one. This time they're trying to use this play that they're trying to do to bust up through the middle of the ground, and you will make some mistakes.
Hawks will need 3 goals to win. The bounce in the middle. Hale wins the hit out. It's thrown by Johnson. He's come into it in the second half. Kicked by Johnson wide to Podsiadly. Takes the mark about 55 from goal. Wheels around, kicks long to full forward. A goal here might nearly seal it. Menzel in front. Can't quite take the mark. Comes to the front to Gibson. Hand pass back. In trouble. It's close to the boundary line. Hawks looking to get it over the line. Cats looking to keep it in. It just gets over alongside the behind post and will have a throw in. 111 plays 97.
24 possessions for Steve Johnson, Drew. Boundary throw and Cats deep into attack. Hawkins taps to the back looking for Chapman. Ellis in the way. Chapman lays a tackle, then he wins it. Tries to barge free of a Ladson tackle. Linger hurried boot to ball, kicks into bodies. Taken by Mitchell, spins out of tackles cleverly. Defensive give Guerra and Ladson. Just outside the defensive goal square at the punt road end. A foot pass to Ellis. Kick no good. Sean Burgoyne was left in his wake by the brilliant Scarlett and gained 250. Squares it up to Chapman on the edge of the centre square. He'll slow it down.
Actually, Dan, the kick was okay. You know who read it better than Burgoyne?
Scarlett. Yeah, Scarlett read it better, yeah.
Their defence reads the ball extremely well.
Goes backwards with Hawthorn protecting the attacking 50 for the Cats. Mackie switching to Stokes on the outer side. Liked his game of defence today too. Foot pass on the chest of Corey for possession 22. And he kicks wide to Selwood. Hang on to that, sticky fingers.
Wonderful.
He did. Just millimetres inside the boundary at right half forward for Geelong underneath the Great Southern stand.
But that's how you attack the ball, with your hands out in front. Not try and take them on your chest.
Selwood pokes it into the pocket. No good. Gibson in the way.
Who was that for?
No one in particular.
Gibson.
No man's land. He handballs to Guerra, puts him under the pump. Ellis is in the goal square, lurking Barco. Handballs to Gillam. Can't control it, but I think it might be off his foot. It is accidentally.
Off his foot for sure.
Oh dear.
A very poor selection. Both the players coming out there. Wasn't the right option. Ellis gave it back the wrong one. Ran on again. He had no distance between he and the boundary line. Was going to be a freak if he got it. And under pressure, so nowhere to go. Very poor decision making to get into that position in the first place.
And he gets a bit shaky, Ellis.
Podsiadly can shake hands with the cameraman who's half a metre behind him. This to seal it. 27-minute mark would be a miracle goal. James Podsiadly with the boomerang. It is a miracle goal. Cats are home at the MCG. With 5 in a row against the Hawks. 17-15, 117. And they're undefeated. Can you believe it? Under new coach Chris Scott, he must think this coaching cape is simple. Hawthorn 15-7, 97. We've played nearly 28 minutes. Podsiadly's done his job despite having a bit of an injury. He's got a couple of goals today.
And to this point, at least in name, their record of St Kilda, Freo, Port along the way, and Sydney have been their scalps, and Hawthorn now. So in terms of opposition, Mark made that point before the game. Hawthorn, Adelaide, Melbourne, Richmond and West Coast, you wouldn't say were as classy an opposition. So they've done it as a lot of people expected.
Bounce in the middle. Ottens wins it. Comes down to Mitchell of the Hawks. We're at the 28-minute mark. Ball comes out wide to Ladson. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Sewell the hand pass. Back to Shields. No distance with this kick. Knocked forward here for the Cats. Comes up to Selwood. What a game he's played. To Stokes. Back to Enright. Selwood will get it back again. In between wing and half forward.
If you saw the Geelong players there and the Hawthorn players, there was 4 who ran together and shared the ball around. The Hawks were running 5 and 10 metres behind at half pace. They've given up the ghost.
Yeah, hoping the ball would leave the area.
Using up a good amount of time, Joel Selwood. He kicks inside the 50. Flying Menzel. Can't take the mark. Rode by Chapman near the boundary line. He works in telephone booth. Gets it up short of the goal square. Bunted across to Hale. Back to Gillam. To Franklin, who made a fantastic fast start. Now he's getting the hoots. Ironic cheers for Buddy. He kicks it long up short of centre wing. Bruce can't mark, and the ball goes over the boundary line. Southern stand side, 117 plays 97. And in the light of recent games between these two, this is a bit of a blowout, a 20-point margin.
Not Buddy's fault that they're booing him. They just couldn't get it down to him.
Ottens, a little flick. Sewell there. Kelly, another possession. Varco the tap. Didn't find the target. Ends up with Corey. Quick give to Bartel, switching into the middle to Enright. Always finds himself in the right position, Enright. Love him because he's in my dream team. He racks up getting it to Stokes. Wide to Chapman again at half forward. Left half forward to the punt road end with the lights on here. The lead 20 points, nearly 30 travel. He'll go wide to Scarlett. I want to give it to Scarlett and hope as the siren sounds, Matty Scarlett's got the footy in his 250th. Goes backwards to Lonigan.
They just want to drive him mad, Dan. I mean, what you got to do now is when you got a side like this, you've got to bury them. And what they're doing now is just driving them insane.
Milburn and to Lonigan. Backwards to the wing. Mark McClure on grandstand. Never pulls any punches, Drew.
Somebody has interchanged.
Interchange infringement. There's a orange flag right in front of us. And it's going to be a Hawthorn free kick.
Oh, that'll drive them insane. You can't do that.
So Bateman was forward of the wing. He'll go well inside 50.
Does it go 50 from that point?
Yeah.
Yep. So Bateman has a chance to kick his fourth.
Another one. Did he cheat that one too?
It's only 40. It's only 40 when you get interchanges here. It's not 50.
The clock stopped while all that happened, so but there's still less than a minute remaining in the game. 20 points the margin. Gives it off to Young, who's a raking left footer. He kicks it a mile, but offline and through for a minor score. Clinton Young, 1 goal, 1 today. Margin 19. Cats 17-15. The Hawks 15-8.
Dying stages of this. Geelong to remain undefeated with the Magpies. Kick back into play. Taylor up. Franklin the fist. Selwood the crumb. To Duncan in space on the member side. Hawkins takes the mark on the wing. His players run forward for him. In short to Duncan, who's been so impressive again. A Rising Star nominee early in the season. He squares it up to Steve Johnson. Had a big second half.
Then got dropped the next week, didn't he?
He missed with general soreness, the new injury in footy. Goes wide now to Podsy Adley. Siren! Cats are undefeated. They've beaten Hawthorn and another ripper between these two proud clubs. They've won by 19 points, 17-15, 117. The Hawks 15-8, 98. Well, the Hawks kicked the first 4 goals. Geelong and reeled them in. It was 1 point the difference at quarter time. Hawthorn 3 goals to 1 and a dour second quarter. Led by 8 at half time. Geelong kicked 7 goals to 4 to lead by 10 at 3-quarter time. And 4 goals to 3 in the last quarter to have their biggest win over the Hawks for a couple of years by 19 points.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. Should be played at home or far away. Our banners fly high, our goal to die, down at Cardinia Park.
Excellent win for the Cats in front of nearly 80,000 people. We were looking for a good contest. We've had a terrific round of footy. All matches have been close. 30 points was, a little bit of a blow-up, but when you consider that Essendon got within 2 points on a couple of occasions yesterday, the result, well, the match was a bit closer than the result in the end. But a terrific game of footy here at the MCG. Geelong had 11 goal scorers in their excellent win, and as usual, they shared it around. They're very good at that. Duncan kicked 3, Paul Chapman booted 3, Varco 2, and singles to the following. Ling, Podsy Adley, in fact he kicked 2, Hawkins, Selwood, Corey, Kelly, Also Ottens and Bartel. And for the Hawks, Franklin 3 too early on, then 1 in the last quarter. Also 3 to Roughhead. Bateman kicked 3 goals, all in the second half. Singles to Sean Burgoyne, pretty quiet today. Clinton Young, also Brent Guerra and Shane Savage. Final score here at the MCG. Geelong 17-15, 117. The Hawks 15-8, 98.
What's happening here? Is there a medal to be delivered, is there?
Well, a cup and a medal, it appears.
What for?
That's a good question.
Easter Tuesday.
Both teams still out
Easter
on the ground. The coaches are out with them. And Chris Scott getting around his Cats. Very happy with the result. They're 5 out of 5. They have a bye next week, the Cats, and then come up against North Melbourne. So it'll be the Twins coaching against each other when they...
Big build-up.
Oh, it'll be fantastic.
Depression and anxiety. This year is his 6th annual Beyond Blue Cup game. And to present the cup, I'd like to present the CEO, Dawn O'Neill, and she would like to call on the captain of the winning team of Geelong. Over to you, Dawn.
Cameron, congratulations. Fantastic game. And again, thank you so much for raising awareness of depression and anxiety and supporting Beyond Blue. Well done. To you and your team.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks to Hawthorn for the game. It's fantastic. Beyond Blue is just a fantastic initiative, and it does raise a lot of awareness of depression throughout the community. And I know that both teams really love playing for this, so thank you.
Thanks, Cameron, and thank you to both teams too today. It was a great contest between Geelong and the Hawthorn Football Club.
MC Tim Watson on the boundary, and yes, a very worthy cause. Good win by the Cats. Hawks now back in the pack a bit. 3 wins, 2 losses. This is a very tight competition. They'll get a week off, as Drew mentioned, to lick their wounds. And well, the Cats winners are grinners, and what a terrific start it's been. I mean, they got out of jail, Mark, didn't they, with their win against the Saints?
Yeah.
Lucky probably to win that, though. Were outplayed, I think, for most of the night by the Saints. Since then, they've just grown from strength to strength. That win against Freo on the road, I think Freo are going to be pretty hard to beat in Perth this year, as evidenced by their comeback last night, and they've been very good, Geelong.
No, terrific. They're contenders. Don't worry about that. They're back in the hunt. They showed today that of the two that we all thought that were going to be around about, the Cats are the better side. And there's no doubt about it. It sets up with Chapman and Bartel, who are their 2 keys, who really set the game plan for them, show some real strength, put their body in line, and then the rest follow. Selwood, all of a sudden he was ordinary early, but into it. Kelly and Johnson and Duncan and a few others around that midfield who really pushed the ball forward. They are a super team. It's Podsy Adley, their forward up there. He didn't do much. He didn't get a lot of the ball, but his contested efforts were spectacular. Brought the ball to the ground, and they're taking off Matty Scarlett. I was just about to talk about their defence. Well, let's talk about Matty Scarlett. Away you go, boys.
Well, 250 games, a terrific milestone from Matty Scarlett. I just hope that his week isn't soured when they have a look at the tape. Probably will be.
Well, probably will be.
That would be sad, but I think he's in a bit of trouble from what we could see with the eye, and then the follow-up with the replay. Don't think Mark helped him all that much, but that's where it starts with them. They're under extreme pressure early. They made a fabulous change. Lonergan, I think...
did a good job.
Well, he did a good job, because it was who started on Taylor started on him, and Taylor got an absolute fix early. Buddy just had a field day doing what he does, but you realise how good Lonergan was, because Buddy was not conspicuous by his absence, but influenced the game very little from that point on, and Lonergan, without getting him a lot of the ball, was certainly a very couple. That's where it starts. But then they had 5 of their best players, in my opinion, came in that area. Scarlett, we've said, look, I don't know whether he gets the medal or not. Enright was just terrific from go to woe. Milburn, who I think's got to the stage where he could be a liability, he just rounds up and cleans up all the time, as he's always done. No different speed over the ground, no difference in his decision making. Taylor, after that bad start, I think became a competent player from that point on. And who was the other one? They Scarlett, Enright, the 5 of the 6 one. I can't think of the 6th one was, because they dropped Hunt before the game, and he's been pretty much a part of that back half. But certainly they defended everything well, got numbers back, and their usage on the way out to get into the middle of the ground was superb. And I don't think, Mark, there was anything's changed too much with Geelong.
I think we're about to head down to the Geelong rooms.
That's exactly right, Dan. They're just crowding around now to do their thing, and it really is a happy mood down here, no question about that. I've been to a number of Geelong winning rooms. This one just as happy as any of the others. Really evident, just even from the body language of the players, that they're pretty tired. This was a really gruelling affair right from the start. We were all commenting on that first quarter. It was one of the hottest quarters we've seen so far this year. We might just head upstairs momentarily and come back. We're going to have a chat to Tom Lonergan, who was one of Geelong's really important players today.
Look forward to that. It'll be fantastic, Sel.
Yeah, David was just talking about the defence, and he was no doubt about that. Their defence was outstanding. Harry Taylor was great after a poor start, got flogged early. Corey Enright, of course. Matty Scarlett. He's ended up with 29 possessions. Incredible performance. And they didn't matter where he was on the ground then. They just kicked it to him to give him some more. And so they should. He's been a stalwart and a great player. And he'll probably end up with some votes as well because he was undefeated. No one on him kicked goals. He was just spectacular in what he did. So I really like what they did there. I mean, Ling's their problem. I don't know whether they're going to play him now. But you know what? They'll carry him because he's such an honest and great person they want to do. The Hawks, where are they at? Well, their midfield's slow, and we saw that again today. They lack a penetration. When Buddy stopped, who can kick their goals? They are in big trouble. Bateman had to pinch a few out of there. Ruffy got 3 today, which was a good return for him. But it was really difficult for them to score. They were fantastic. Don't worry about that. But they have some deficiencies in their game. And we saw with their defence, even without a good forward line from the Hawks, they still got beat.
Good on you, Mark. We'll get back to you shortly, but let's get down into the Geelong rooms. And one of the stars of them today was Tom Lonergan. Great name, that. He's got Adam White with him. Good on you, Whitey.
Thank you for that, Dan. Yeah, certainly one of the stars today, Tom Lonergan. Tom, what I want to know is you didn't start on Buddy, but you were there pretty quickly. Were you planning at all during the week that might have happened?
The plan was for all three of us to rotate through him. He's such a dangerous player. At some stage or another, I was going to go onto him. And that's a good thing about our backline. We can do that, and we're pretty versatile. And just so happened that I went on him probably earlier than I thought.
So what was going through your mind? Buddy's kicked 2 in the first 3 minutes, an electric start. Then all of a sudden the message comes out. Are you anxious? Are you nervous? Are you thinking, right, this is mine today? I'm going to really step up for my team.
I guess I went with the approach. Got nothing to lose, and we played on him before, and I like to think a few of my ways to play on him work well, and me and Harry have got that sort of combination going that if he needs a bit of a spell, I'll go and roll over to his man, he'll roll over to mine, and likewise. So yeah, it worked well today.
I want to ask you about playing against him, because you do like to play from in front of him, and it does seem to work. You've had success on him in the past, and today was another example.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty quick player, and he likes leading up to the ball, and I just thought if I can cut down that space, it might work, and if I can get him to kick long, and hopefully I can get a few of our players to come over the top and spoil, and that was the case. But he's a great player, and I enjoy playing on him.
Another great game of footy between Hawthorn and Geelong. Do you enjoy playing in them? Because we love watching them.
Mate, it's the best feeling. They're always great crowds and big games and always close, and that's the main thing. I think that's what all the fans want to see. And we've got a great rivalry with them now, and we really get ourselves up to play against the Hawks. They play the good brand of football, and we like to think we do too. And it's a great rivalry at the moment.
Well, Mark and David were watching the game. I'm sure you got a few questions for Tom.
Tom, was the pressure we thought at the start? I know it was a 5-goal each, I think, first quarter, but was the intensity like a grand final? We had a sense feeling here that this was up and going like any final game.
It reminded me a lot of the prelim last year, actually. Yep. I thought hopefully we can stop their midfield, kicking it in really quickly. It seemed as though everything was going their way, and it reminded me a lot of that prelim against Collingwood last year, and we're lucky enough that we could stop their kicks getting quickly to the forward line and start to climb back into the game.
And there's something because at quarters, there was 10 goals scored in the first quarter. You probably don't think too much about you playing the game, and there were only 4 in the second quarter. It looked like the steam had been let out of a balloon. It had flown round and things settled down, and the game started to build again differently in the second quarter. Wasn't quite the same risk taking, wasn't quite the same intensity.
Yeah, we knew we just had to hang in there. Hawthorn, obviously the big crowd, they would have got behind them, so we just had to hang in there and hopefully that it'd swing back our way, and it did. Our mid started getting on top in the centre bounce, and we started getting it in quickly to our forwards, and they were kicking goals, which helped.
Tommy, you cemented your spot now. I mean, for a while there you were unsure of yourself, but after this last sort of 5 or 6 weeks, it's been fantastic for you.
Yeah, it probably goes back longer. I like to think I sort of had a reasonable year last year. I played on some good plays, and I like to think I've done a reasonable job too. So, I'm pretty comfortable with myself down there, and done a lot of training over the pre-season to work on deficiencies, and really enjoy playing back there with guys like Scarlo, who played his 250th, and Dasher and Mac and Harry and all these blokes.
Seems to me like, and I'm glad you talked about them, because it seems to me that you've got a really good bond, you've got a good understanding, and you know exactly what each other are doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've won 2 premierships, and they've all got the utmost respect for them, and I just try to do my bit, and hopefully I can get a bit of respect from them guys, and that's what I'm after.
I hope Father Time doesn't catch up with them too soon.
That's right, yeah.
You get plenty of respect from this side of the fence, from the football-loving public. You go back a few years and you're lying in a hospital bed, you might have thought, hey, football, I'm never going to play this again, and look at the way you're going now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it probably won't be something I'll think about until after I finish. I'm just... First thought was to get back and after the injury and start running again, and then sort of little goals along the way to get back to playing senior footy, and now I've come this far, and hopefully I can. I'm certain it can keep going.
Must have been a mental hurdle to jump over more than anything else.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, obviously the thought of getting another knock in the other kidney is something I had to deal with, but. Tend not to think about it too much. I like to just get on playing footy. I like to think of it as a bit of a freak accident and, start my career fresh.
Tommy, you seem revitalised. I remember watching last year at the end of the season when you played in the finals, and you were totally different to what I saw today.
Mate, that's what Scotty's brought. And also the assistant coaches. They're really fresh and up vibe, and they brought a great new game style, and it's really brought the older guys. They've really started enjoying their football again. Scotty's a youthful sort of character, and he's the way he played his footy. We've got pretty respect for him, and we really enjoyed playing under him.
And a couple of additions. You talk about the older guys have been fantastic, but Duncan and Menzel are giving you a bit of vitality, youth, and a lot of skill. That's fantastic too for the team.
Yeah, for sure. You throw in Alan Christensen too.
Yes, and didn't quite make it.
We've also got some other players in the VFL who are not too far away. So it's keeping everyone on their toes. We really enjoy playing, blooding these young guys and getting them in and getting games under the belt, and hopefully we can have sustained success.
What's on for the week?
Sorry, boys. Tom's got to go.
No.
He's just heading into the meeting now, and he's the only one left, so we better let him go.
Good on you, Tom. Great to have a chat. Well played, mate.
Good on you.
Are you claiming him as a family member today, Dan?
I'm claiming him as a family member. I think there's some sort of connection, but a long, long way away, of course, from the days in Ireland. But it's felt the same way. But yeah, terrific. It is, as you mentioned, Drew, one of the great stories in footy. Yep. I mean, he was probably no chance of ever playing again.
I would have thought so.
He had a lot of people give him support. I mean, Sam Newman, who's a very famous name in Geelong, gave him tremendous support. Spending a few days with him in hospital. He, of course, suffered the same fate as a youngster losing a kidney, and that obviously gave him confidence, along with other people getting behind him, and Geelong keeping him on their list, boys.
Oh, yeah,
that was what they had to do, and they did it right.
A lot of doubters, and good to think that he probably came good in his mind prior to a few of us who are looking over the fence and saying he looks like he's probably not going to be able to hold that spot and do the job. Today was a fantastic day for him and for all of those people who've gone through similar tragedies in their life. If he can come out and play in that pressured situation with all the courage and skill against one of the best competitors you could find in the game, I salute him. I think it's just a marvellous performance.
You know what? The best thing he said there, I hope I can earn the respect of the players.
Oh, yeah, terrific.
And to me, that is what you do. That's how you become comfortable in your thing. If you get some respect from your teammates, well, there's no better.
There was an incident over there at the Punt Road end where he slid in. He got a reckless and accidental knee to the head. Now, for that boy to get into a situation like that after what he's gone through is just a real badge of honour.
Well, he read the one coming in, Mark. We were just sitting here, and the ball in Hawthorn's hand was being delivered without pressure from the wing. He just read the direction of the run and the kick probably a second and a half before Franklin had got himself organised to actually go, took the ball unmolested ahead of probably the best athlete in the game and was able to clear it again. It was just terrific effort, and they're obviously a band of brothers down there. I think that group, I just love watching them play. It's as good as watching forwards go in and construct goals to see what they do in diminishing the opposition's effectiveness.
His mindset after Buddy had kicked 2 and was on fire and tearing the joint apart and the whole crowd was up and going to go on him, all of a sudden, how would you be feeling? You'd feel like, hell, I'm on the best player in the world. Like, I mean, everyone thinks he's great, and to nullify him completely, what a feeling it would be.
But it was a masterstroke because it released Taylor.
Well, it was a matter of
then got the confidence to play. I know they had to, but Taylor got the confidence to play magnificently from that point onwards too. Like, he was a transformed man as well, Dave.
Well, and that's terrific for him too. We've had great admiration for Taylor. He's had a bit of a downer over the last, half a season, I suppose, not playing with quite the same effect that he had. But for him in the circumstances to have his pants pulled down badly early and to get up and do the job was terrific too. So it says something about not only the individuals but the group as they work. And here's Hunter, who's been down there for a heck of a long time, and I wouldn't have had him out of my side. He's not even there. So they make up the numbers and look like nothing's changed.
Well, that's good though, isn't it? You need to change people over.
Yeah,
you need to
true.
keep them on their toes. Yep. You need to make them hungry. And the vanquished, well, have they got some upside, Dave?
Yes, they do.
Well, where is it?
Well, certainly the three of their better players, in my opinion, we talked about Savage, Shield and Suckling.
Yeah.
They look to me as at least they're playing at the level they were composed of. But they have got some, that's the upside to it. It's a couple of young people. But they've got a few. Bruce, I don't think, has a role. That's pretty harsh to say in this side.
I can't find one for him.
Alice struggled. They brought him back in today, and he actually struggled to make it. Hodgie looks like he is suffering the play of players who hasn't been able to prepare and is carrying an injury. There's no doubt about that, though. And Lewis, despite he did some very brave and courageous things today, he didn't make a massive impact on the ground. So they had a long tail today, unlike Geelong, who I couldn't find. Even young Hunt, before he got injured and went off, did a couple of things. But certainly Hawthorn has a tail at the moment in the sense of 6 or 7 players who contributed well below mark their capacity. And if they aren't playing at that level, Hawthorn aren't good enough collectively to win. So they've got some work ahead. I don't think they're in the, challenge mould at the moment. If they're looking upon as being the next best after Collingwood, forget it.
See, Hodgie worries me. He's not fit, but he's got enough heart to play and enough gumption to play. That's pathetic as far as I'm concerned. You've got to put him in a spot where he's not going to get hurt. I mean, Ling going to him didn't hurt him, but it nullified him completely, so it was no use at all.
Well, it was a smart move, wasn't it?
Very much.
I was Adam picked it before the game started. I must admit I didn't, and he did the job because he becomes a very, productive player if you don't man him up and use him. They used him a couple of times. He scored goals and did things at crucial moments because Hodge wasn't able to match it with him.
Hodgie clearly below his best, just 12 possessions and 40 Dream Team points. So that is not Brad Hodges. That's Luke Hodges, we know him.
That's what we're talking about. You hold him up and you put him in their defence, he can't even hurt you going forward. He doesn't do anything,
We'll check more of the stats in a second. Geelong by 19 points over Hawthorn, 17-15, 117. The Hawks 15-8, 98. We'd love to hear from you. 1-300. It's been a massive weekend of footy. We get a day off just to recharge the batteries. We start again on Thursday with round 6. Can you believe it? Melbourne travelling to the west to take on the West Coast Eagles. Both teams refreshed after a week off at Subiaco. Then another massive match on Friday, Carlton and Sydney, and we're into it again. But 1-300 222 774. Anything you like from what's happened in this terrific round. What a great round of footy it's been, if you can still remember it. And what is coming up in round 6?
Well, there'll be a lot of people in their cars coming back from a long, long weekend. We will have been listening to the footy, get on the phone and have a chat to us.
And another ripper game, when you think about it, 14 odd points or something like that again. What a ripper game.
Yeah, 19 points.
19 points.
78,000, so only 9,000 less than the Anzac Day game yesterday.
Mark's going to give us an explanation as to why they're playing a game in Perth on Thursday night.
Because
is there an explanation? I must read the fixture explanation of that.
Well, some TV station wanted it so they could make some more money. So that's what it's about. When you sell your soul, guess what?
Thursday night last week, Thursday night again this week,
Yeah,
and there was a Thursday night in the first round. Would that be the first time ever in the history of the game we've had 3 Thursday night games in a season, let alone in 7 weeks?
And the only time you get a big crowd is on a Saturday afternoon or an afternoon game, a 2 o'clock game. That's all we do is get big crowds then. I don't get it.
We haven't got another MCG Saturday afternoon match until round 14.
What a good idea that is. Just let's leave the best stadium in the world alone and go somewhere else.
Well,
ridiculous.
They're wasting this fertiliser going around on the ground now, aren't they? Don't need any grass.
Oh, well, there's plenty of footy here, but just not Saturday afternoon. Drew, let's check the overall stats if you can.
Yep, well, the total disposals were in favour of the winners, the Cats, 411 to 372. The marks also to the Cats, 119 to 77. The contested possessions to the Cats, 156 to 144. Any more stats for the Cats? Tackles, 65 to 59. The inside 50s slightly to Hawthorn, 58 to 57. The clearances, they went to the Cats, 39 to 34. So I think when they review the tapes at Hawthorn, there'll be a lot of things to work on. Some of the individuals, well, for the Cats, let's go down. Scarlett from last line of defence, 29 possessions, absolutely remarkable. Selwood had 32. Steve Johnson had 25. 28 for Jimmy Bartell. 23 for Joel Corey. 25, Corey Enright, 24 to Darren Milburn. So the defence was absolutely superb. For the Hawks, leading possession winner, well, this time Sammy Mitchell saw the game out. He had a heap in the first half last week and not much in the second, but he finished with 29 possessions. 28 for Matt Suckling, and has had a terrific season. 27 for Brad Sewell. And I'd like to have a look at Ruffy, who last week hardly touched it. He got 17 today and kicked 3 goals, and he had 10 contested possessions. Brad Sewell, he had 27 possessions, and 15 of them were contested. So well done to Brad Sewell in the midfield. The contested possessions for the Cats, would it be any surprise to you that Joel Selwood was the leader there? He had 14 of his 32 were contested where he got a whack.
He is a gun, isn't he?
And Ruffy's after you too, Drew.